Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It's that time again. That's right. Can you believe it? We're back again already for another exciting extravaganza. That is right. It is time for, dun, 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 you guessed it, Talk Tuesday. And tonight's special guest, let me tell you what, I have got a real doozy of a one lined up for you guys tonight. Tonight's special guest can be found braving and taming a wilderness full of dinosaurs, sailing serpent-infested seas of the 10th world, and showing off real solid survival skills in a land that should come with a tetanus warning. Uh, Notorious for their skills in 3D model rendering in a physical medium, this pioneer of the lattice stabilizer is a legend both on and off the screen. From running supermarkets in dodgy neighborhoods to shoring up his fortifications in a post apocalyptic world, this is one streamer that knows exactly how to stay calm and cool under the most extreme conditions and pressures. From their sharpshooting to epic levels of constructions, this streamer comes with their very own backing track that just screams epic success. And if I've not given away this paragon of practical engineering applications, then let me present to you tonight's completely technical paramour, the one and only, the fantastic and fabulous, you guessed it, All Out Nerddom. All Out Nerddom, welcome to Talk Tuesday.
Good evening. I was counting in my head and I was like, ah, shit.
Well, so usually it's one of those things like when I get to the end, right? It's like I'm going to hit the button, but as soon as you hear it, I'm already on deaf, and you can just start talking. You're fine.
Oh yeah. No, it's good. I appreciate you having me, man. It's a good time.
It's a good time. It was ecstatic. Now, for any of you new around here to Talk Tuesday is where we get to sit around and we're going to find out all about this fantastic streamer that you currently hear in your ears. But believe me, there's still plenty more to learn about. We are going to ask you a series of questions. Now, those questions will come in fast and furious, but don't worry about trying to keep up with them. I've already got a little program. It's already getting front loaded as we speak. You'll have a couple questions to answer from me up front. It is my show. I claim first question rights. I don't care what anybody else says. So, that's just the way that works, right? Stingy Nori. Yeah, man. It's fine. It's fine. You'll hear that an awful lot too. I tend to say it's fine an awful lot for almost everything. If you pick it up, I'm going to apologize already, but trust me, it's fine. But yeah, so they'll ask the questions coming in. Don't worry about trying to keep up with the questions. That's what I've got this little program here for. I will deal with the questions. I'm sorry, Zoda, you don't get anything more. You got to figure out the credit card on your own, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all we can give you. If you haven't figured out the rest of that, what are we going to do? But beyond that, it's you and me and a fantastic collection of dying to meet you interesting people. So, are you ready, my friend?
I am very ready.
All right.
I don't believe in the classic I was born ready, but
if you don't have any further questions, I don't think chat has any further questions. They're dying to get this started. So, then, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Talk Tuesday. Welcome on in. Keyboard and mouse and controller. What? Cool. Yes, it is the fantastic and fabulous All Out Nerddom Live! Exclamation puzzle. In chat, we'll get you guys a link to the puzzle if you want to get in there and dive on in and do the puzzling thing. Otherwise, let's get this party started. We're going to start with our classic one, All Out. I am dying to know, and I have been dying to know since my initial introduction to you, where did you come out with that fantastic name from? Like, what's the backstory behind that?
Oh man. So part of it.
So it's like, wow,
part of it
guns
comes
blazing
from,
off the back.
straight off the back. Straight. So part of it comes from the fact that my initial background is obviously in
Hmm.
contracting. So obviously to be a good contractor and always get calls, you have to be the start of the phone book. So that's where the A comes from, 100%. So I just figured out all. But but also I'm into a lot of super nerdy stuff, from obviously computers and 3D printing.
Hmm.
I play Magic the Gathering. I play Dungeons and Dragons. Play Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all that stuff. And
Hmm.
I am out there in every nerdy thing possible. And we go pretty crazy with it sometimes. So instead of the initial thought of, I'll buy one 3D printer, I bought a 3D print farm.
Didn't buy one. You just
So,
got an entire village. Is that what it is?
exactly. Started with one, and then a couple months later, ended up with my first six before my first year was up.
Wow, six. That is anything but a little investment, my friend.
Oh,
That
I
is
was
the
saying,
start of your own 3D printing kingdom. Is what it sounds like.
oh yeah, I was saying, and Zeke can vouch. So Zeke actually, that's why I was laughing when I saw Zeke in chat. So Zeke actually and I know each other like IRL. Like he's like one of my
Hmm.
best buddies. He's also a top
Oh,
tier mod.
good. It also means that he'll have all the really juicy questions to ask you too.
Oh, he does. He does.
Like go
I
ahead, Zeke, go ahead and just start priming up all the really embarrassing ones. It's okay. I will make certain to get them asked. If you don't want to ask about the Las Vegas trip, I totally understand it. That was kind of bad for you too, Zeke. But I'm just kidding. I'm playing. Just waiting for Zeke. Like, how did he know about that?
Oh, okay. Well, especially because my
Seriously,
second marriage was in Vegas.
Swear to God, it's just a joke.
It was good. It was good.
All I heard was, God damn it, Nori, exactly how thorough is your research now? It's fine. It's fine. I promise. Um, no, it's fantastic, right? Like, everybody has really interesting stories about where their name comes from, and it's always good to capture that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I get the nerddom thing. Like for me, it was always comic books, and my favorite thing about comic books were always the origin stories. And so, to me,
Oh
listening
yeah.
to people talk about how they came across their name, that's your origin story. Because for lack of a better term, like that your name kind of helps to set the theme that drives your channel. The way you react, you watch a lot of people, they'll change their name because they're like, I'm just not feeling this, and so they go through a name change, and the theme of the channel changes and everything else, and like, okay, it's now a new persona. Uh,
Absolutely.
so
Which I've
yeah,
had
so
that thought a couple times, but
you considered it, huh?
oh yeah, but it's just
Uh,
I laugh so hard when people just randomly yell all out or nerd when I come in when I come into a chat. So it's
Nerd.
just funny.
It's always good, right? Like those are the
Oh yeah.
best times is when you've got a name that people just instinctively want to yell about.
Oh yeah.
You pop your head and they're like, "Yo, what's up, everybody?" And people are just like, "Ah!" It's like that little hit of a celebrity rush. You're like, "Oh, yeah." Now, have you ever popped into a channel that you've never been to before and had people freak out on you?
I actually have, which it was
Not
around the
surprised.
very start, and I would randomly pop into Valheim streams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I pop oh my gosh. I was trying to think of exactly who it was so I could name drop real quick, but um but I
sorry,
went in and they
sorry.
had like maybe oh god, easily over like 4 or 5,000 followers. Like, so they had a huge community,
Oh yeah,
and
huge.
they, even as a streamer, got super stoked when I came in, and I was like, I don't even know who you are, man. I'm like, I'm nobody, man. I had like 110 followers at the time, and I was like,
Oh,
good God.
that is fantastic. Right, but that's always so much fun when that happens. Hi, Babs. Welcome in. I forgot to say hi to all of you. We got like a whole cluster of people just already showing up already. I'm like, oh, I didn't say hi to everybody. I just kind of got in and started diving away. And see, here's the problem, right? You're such a big star. I was a little flustered. And I'm like, no, we're just going to dive right on in. We can't hold all out to ourselves. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? My chat would revolt on me. No.
I was gonna say we're on a strict schedule. No. Just...
We are. We're in a serious time crunch here. We can only get the superstar's time for just a little bit. It's a very busy man. Very busy man. Can't sleep so high. Yo, Echo. Welcome in. But that's fantastic. So what got you started in streaming?
Oh gosh. I know I initially started, I was my first streams, not as All Out Nerddom, but was actually like, oh gosh, I want to say over 10 years ago. That was back in the Facebook and Periscope days. I don't know if you ever used Periscope.
Yes, I didn't know what Periscope. I never used it, but I do know what it is.
Oh yeah. So I used to actually used to do sponsored bass fishing. And used to do bass tournaments like on a regular basis. And so for a couple of the sponsors that I had, which like I still have now, like River to Seas and Vicious Fishing Line and
right.
good old, of course, St. Croix. But you know, so I used to do a lot of videos and stuff like that for them and advertisements and everything. And so I started then, and then completely stopped once I kind of stopped doing tournaments, and ended up like I was literally playing Valheim completely just for fun. And I was very much against allowing myself to look on YouTube to find a way how to actually do stuff in the game, because I
Right.
didn't know you could repair stuff. I was very new to gaming, so I didn't know how to do anything. I had a stack of freaking stone axes that every time they broke, it just got thrown in the stack.
I love
and
that.
and I literally pulled up Valheim on Twitch. I didn't even have a Twitch account yet, and I actually went to I will gently name drop, but I went into Tuna Pickle's stream, and I just had such a good time watching him fight Yag, and the camaraderie between chat and himself, and I just had such a great time that I was like, I want to give this a try. I was like, I won't get anywhere with it. I know I keep myself to a very realistic expectation.
Right.
And I'm like, if I can do this for a year and get 50 followers, I'll feel successful. I'll have done what I wanted to do. I'll be super happy. And like 3 days later, I did a stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, actually, which did not go amazingly well. But but like my audio was absolute crap. I had this Samson mic that was I connected via 3mm jack to like
Yeah, I was gonna say
USB.
I already know what kind of mic you're. I'm sorry. Like
It was
I know what mic you were talking about.
dude, after I actually found out how to properly connect something like that to a computer, it was fine. It was so good. But prior to that, it was so quiet, and I got like the gentle starstruck when Tuna came in, and he was just like, "Good God, your audio is horrible."
Oh, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
but it was just one of those like seeing how much fun people were having, and like just literally enjoying that love for a game. It just it
Right.
made me go back to my fishing days and stuff like. Well, I mean, I still fish, but go back to my times of like fishing to where all of us would share a similarity and like we all have our different voices on it, but we were all there
Yeah,
for the same thing, you know.
that's right.
And it was just, you know, that the rest of it's history now. I mean, hell, it was.
Hell, you're a superstar now, and were you expecting that one?
Ma I will say, because I still view as I still have super tiny channel, and but I'm
Hmm.
cool with it. I would very much rather 10 insanely, hell, even 5 insanely amazing kind people that love the community come into chat and hang out
Right.
than have 12,000 people in there that don't give a crap
Exactly
about
right.
anything.
Well, yeah, and they're just there for clout and whatnot, right? Like I
100%.
enjoy a good, I like a good conversation. I like being able to. I mean, if that's not fairly obvious, I started this entire series because I like talking. Uh,
Right.
so to me, having a being able to have a gentle conversation with somebody is far preferable any day of the week than just a bajillion people in there all shouting, trying to get your attention. Like at that point, it's just so much
Exactly.
noise in the wash. You're like, how do you even track what's going on?
Exactly. And that's the thing is like you go into a lot of them like I always had that thought of if say it were to ever that the channel became huge, chat's the first thing that's important. I could give a
Mm-hmm.
crap about the game. I'll die in the middle of a fight. Like I can count on all both hands and both feet how many permas I've died in because I wanted to make sure I was paying attention to chat in the middle of a huge
Right.
boss fight in Valheim. And it's no frustration. No, I would be more mad at myself if I missed chat and what was going on in chat than if I
Right.
died in a perma. You know?
Oh yeah, totally. I get that. Well, it's I like to look at chat as like these are my friends hanging out there, right?
Exactly.
And these are people that I would like. I look at chat as I've got this giant couch, and these are all just people hanging out with me on the couch, and we're all just doing the old school gaming days of like the NES when they originally came out. Like you'd sit down with all your best mates, and you're just like yeah, and you're just taking turns passing the controller
Absolutely.
around, right?
Exactly. And it's just the camaraderie and the different conversations that are happening at the same time and it's just it's enjoyable. And especially cuz I am horrible with people in person. I am not a people person at all. Like people frighten the crap out of me, man. And it's like to see it in a virtual standpoint where I can just like kind of chat with somebody and I don't have to have that worry of the judgment because it's not directly face to face. You know, because someone can judge me over the internet and I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
it's
totally
fine.
cool.
Whatever.
I can turn that comment off and I don't have to think about it again.
What did you say about me? I don't care. Oh, look,
Exactly.
it's on Twitch. I can just right click and delete commentation. There we go. Problem solved.
Oh,
Didn't even see it. Never
100%.
happened.
I had somebody come into chat just like just blurting out just these horrible obscenities. I had no idea who it was. I highly doubt they knew me at all. And they just kept putting these things, and it's just, oh, that's unfortunate, and ban. It's like,
Oh, I
it's
actually
easy.
had to ban somebody for the first time. I was surprised because I've almost never banned anybody, and yeah, I had somebody come in and they were spouting religious nonsense in my channel. Like, yeah, and I would delete the comment and like, buddy, this is not the place for that. And
Oh
then they
yeah.
would just start screaming obscenities at me and then repost the same thing. And I'd be like, delete, delete. Yeah, that's not the place for that.
Oh yeah, it is.
Wow.
And that's the thing. That's always why it's. I know everyone always says, you know, with the chat rules and stuff like that, and you know, in
Mm-hmm.
your panels, which, of course, I have. But I'm like, nobody's going in there and reading that before they go into a chat.
No,
Nobody's
no. Are
reading
you
that.
kidding me? Nobody's reading that mess.
It's like
Or
that's
not,
the
but
one
like,
thing I do like about Kick. I will say, not I'm not spouting about Kick. I'm not gonna, preach Kick to anybody. It's
yeah.
it's a horrible place as well. But
Oh yeah.
but but it's when somebody goes in there and clicks on your chat, it pops the rules up and they have to accept it first. And granted, mine's like a dissertation, you know? It's like, but it's like, hey man, I need you to know what we're about. And it's,
Well, I
like,
don't know if you noticed this, but Twitch now has it.
oh, do they?
Yes, they actually have that now. So when you go into a chat for the very first time, and it's your
Mhm.
first time there, if you actually have chat rules filled out, like you've done a little panel thing, it gives you this whole big blurb. It puts that in there. You have to click
Oh,
OK on that before you go through.
see,
Um,
and I find it useful just because if you can hit those quick bullet points of certain things, it's like, we don't like to talk about this. We don't like to talk about this. Let's have fun. Let's have a good time. Like that's to me, that's where it should be. Just because then we're all kind of at that. Don't read those. That's accurate. That is accurate.
is the no one that reads those? Yeah. Uh, I keep like I need to go through. I keep telling myself I need to go through and put rules in mine, but like I have one general standard rule that I'm like, after that I'm pretty tame. I don't really care. Like not too
Yeah,
much ruffles my feather, right? But I have a pretty standardized rule. That's don't be a dick. Period. You can follow that
100%.
one rule. I don't care. Like if you say something that I don't agree with or I don't would rather we not talk about, I may say, hey, look, let's take that to a different conversation. But that's about it. Like
Absolutely.
that's about the most I will say about it. And if you keep doing it over and over again and making a pain about yourself, then we'll have some stronger words about that. But after that, like I don't care. It's fine.
Exactly. And I always like to joke of, because people are always like, oh, my only rule is don't be a dick. And it's like, well, to me, I'm not being a dick. I'm just being blunt and forward. It's like,
No, no.
maybe
So
I'm being
there
a
is
dick,
a
but
there is a difference between being blunt and forward and being a dick, right? So being blunt and forward, you
exactly.
say something and I go, okay, I don't really agree with that, but um, I would prefer you not talk about that here in the channel. It's okay. You've had your opinion. You've said your piece, right? Like, okay,
Absolutely.
let somebody brings up politics or comes in here spouting religion. Hey, look, guy, let's not say we did, right? If you continue to do
Exactly.
that, now you're being a dick. If you do it the first time and I like, let's not, and you like, okay, I get that, I respect that. You're not being a dick. You still got your piece out. We saw it. We're like, yep, we all seen that. That's fine.
Mhm.
But we've moved past that, right? Because we've agreed not to be a dick. You're not, beating people upside the head with it, so to speak.
Exactly, exactly. It's one of those, like, same thing as if somebody brings up, politics, religion, what have you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, I will fight tooth and nail every ounce of my being for you to believe what you believe in any standpoint.
Absolutely.
However, to me, this is not the area that we
Uh,
discuss that. It's
right. It's not the appropriate place for it. Again, see
exactly.
rule one, don't be a dick.
Exactly.
so, so it's just like, to me, that's just one of those. I'm like, yeah, that's like, so that's the reason why I've never really gotten around to writing rules for a channel. I'm like, it's one rule, don't be a dick. It's fine.
Exactly.
Very tame. Okay. I am tame. I'm a little pussycat. What are you talking about? It's hard to say that with a straight face. Um, I so I got in. Squirrel was the one that introduced me to you for the first time. I'm just gonna put that out there now.
Thank you, Swift.
So we were planning season one of our Denmark server, um, and Squirrel was talking about a bunch of people that she thought would be really great to bring on board, and your name was one of those names that came up. Now we weren't able to
Mhm.
unfortunately get a hold of you for that, but it's still I found my way over into your chat and watching your chat, and to be fair, and this is not anything towards you or whatnot, But when I was looking around to pull people in for our very first season 1 Den work, this was a bunch of content creators getting together on a single Valheim, it was a modded Valheim server, and we were going to play games together, right? Do Valheim together for the first time. We had a blast. We had a ton of things. There was a whole food fight shenanigan thing that we had going on. We had split off into little groups, and we were doing prank wars, and it was this really fun time. We had we tormented each other. But I remember going and looking at your channel at that point in time, and I'm like, holy crap! First off, this is a guy who's got his stuff together. And you always seemed like really super busy with about a dozen other things. I'm like, there's no way he's going to have time to come and play with us. Hindsight being what it was, I probably should have just went ahead and sucked it up and asked you anyways. But to be honest, yeah, I was a little starstruck when I first met you. And I'm like, okay. And then when you suddenly showed up in my stream, I'm like, yeah, hey, I want to be on Talk Tuesday. I'm like, what the fuck? No, there's no way we've gotten this popular yet. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm flattered. I assure you.
Well, it's just sus. I am not
As I
sus.
also just realized I have a hat behind me that says "Inside of You" on it.
It's fine,
not sponsored,
I promise.
No.
Not sponsored, right? Yeah. Hashtag not sponsored. Maybe. It's fine. You know, we're regularly sponsored around here by Long Range Brand Muffin Oil. That's right. Long Range Brand Muffin Oil.
See, I'll tell you, one reason if I use the cam, I always have a green screen is because there's always crap in the background that I'm like, no, it's not sponsored. It's not sponsored. I have so much LTT stuff around the house.
Oh, hang on. We got a raid coming in. Which means we're going to get a little sound, and then we're going to get a little video to play because we always celebrate our raiders coming in. Yep, there it is. Ooh. And Nerdum's always sponsored. Raid. This is very true, Lily. This is very true. Love this. I don't know who clipped that one, but it's always fantastic because right in the middle of it, she goes, "I may be a bitch, but I'm very, very hot." I'm like, "Yep." It's fun. I'm like, "Yep, gotta love it. Welcome in, Raiders. You are just in time. We're just getting started. You're at the beginning, and we are having a delightful already early start to our conversations with All Out Nerddom. That's right, All Out Nerddom. You thought I was hot. Wait till you see what's on the screen in front of you.
I look better without hair.
But welcome in. Thank you for the raid, Lily and Merc Captain. If you can't stay, we understand. We appreciate you bringing your community over here anyways to meet our special guest tonight. If you do want to stick around, !puzzle, and get your link to the puzzle, you're welcome to join us in the puzzle. You can hit the button, ask all kinds of questions, sit around, and learn more about this fantastic individual. I think that kind of covers everything.
Saying, of course, Zeke mentions the long-standing sponsorship with Raid Shadow Legends. I've never been sponsored by them, thank God.
I honestly, that's one of those, I'm like, who would actually sit around and be like, yeah, sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends? I'm like, really? You hear that as a joke all over the place on Twitch, but I don't know that I've actually ever seen anybody be like, yes, I am sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
See,
I see it
it's
on
weirder when
YouTube.
you see. Oh yeah, oh you everywhere. But it's gently weirder when I knew a couple people that streamed it, but did not have sponsorship with them, and I'm like,
Oh,
there's no way you enjoy the
that's
game that much.
yeah.
Like,
No,
come on.
no. What is
I was actually
that?
gonna say Zeke's got it spot on, man. Some of those sponsorships for like Raid Shadow Legends for like,
Uh,
$6,500. I'll play a crummy mobile game for
it,
$6,500, but I ain't bringing it to the Twitch.
well, my issue with those sort of sponsorship games, right, is always the way they do their sponsorships, right? They're like, oh yeah, we'll sponsor you for it, but you have to have so many people in there, and they have to get to such a point in the game, and then you get
Yep.
credit for the sponsorship. I get that from their perspective because they're trying to drive people to the game, that sort of thing, right? But from the other side of the coin, as like a small streamer, like a lot of these sponsorships are like ridiculous for small streamers to even get their foot in the door to do anything on.
Correct. And the
And
ones that to me make a
mhm,
I don't want to say make sense, but for the smaller people, and I'll be totally honest, I've done it before. Around it was my coming into my first year of streaming, and it was around Thanksgiving time, and Thanksgiving I like to give as much as I can, my
mhm,
my family grew up with nothing, so when I can, I'll buy extra turkeys, we donate them, all that kind of stuff like that. So
right.
I actually took a sponsorship with like HelloFresh, which Zeke actually participated in. And for one, those ones literally just with each sign up is insane. But the beauty of it, with even like me signing up, a couple other people signing up and stuff like that. I mean, like, God, we donated like $900 or something like that to
Oh, that's
like
nice.
literally just to buy food for people and stuff like that for Thanksgiving that they wouldn't have been able to afford to, which was freaking amazing. So
Yeah,
like those ones, it's understandable because like you, I again I don't want to say it's reasonable, but because it's still kind of annoying with how much they expect you to put on your screen. But it's like
yes,
you your parents, your sister, what have you, they sign up for it and you get a payout on it. If you're in a super hard time, it's definitely understandable. I mean, I know people that have done it to upgrade their rig to be able to stream much better quality that did not have very good quality, but you know,
right.
it's some of them are super silly to me though. Like some of the games that are on there, I'm like, really? Like, you expect people to play this? Like, come on.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like I think if you make it accessible, then I'm all here for it. And I didn't realize HelloFresh was that easy,
Oh
or
yeah.
I should say easy accessible. I mean, we'll
For
use the word
US it
accessible.
is, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and that's fine. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it does one of those. It's one of those fantastic things, so that you could be like, yeah, we could do that, like you did. You could do it as a not so much of a sponsor. You could do it as a fundraiser. Like, hey, we're going to
Correct.
do a HelloFresh sponsorship, whatever, to raise funds for whoever. Go sign up
Mhm.
for this. You get some decent food out the deal. Then the charity of the choice will get whatever we earn from this. Like, to me, that
Exactly.
sounds fantastic. And even if you just use it for yourself, I've known a couple of streamers who's done HelloFresh as a sponsorship just for them. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't really think too much about it, other than the fact that I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But I didn't realize it was, you know, that easily accessible, at least for small
Oh
streamers.
yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Especially with ones like that because it's literally you go to this link, you use their code. You don't have to sit and play a game for hours. You don't have to, oh, you got to reach level 337 in freaking Monopoly Go. And it's like, the hell? I don't have 6 years to play this game.
I don't
It's
have the
only
time to do
30
that. Go,
days.
yeah.
But like,
But I'm
But
But that's exactly the point, though, right? Is that accessibility feature makes it more reachable.
exactly. Now the price sometimes of HelloFresh does not, but
Well, okay. I mean, you can't fix that. I mean, that's not your problem to fix, right? Oof.
correct. And it's, as I will say, because the sponsorship is totally over, it is worth it. It is very worth it because you can get an entire like week's worth of food, and it's super good stuff. It's super simple, but it's also super filling.
Hmm.
And you know, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so when I come home, I don't really want to think about that kind of stuff. I don't do it anymore just because it's like, I would very much rather go spend, that type of money for like 3 weeks worth of food.
Fair.
But again, it's
But
a choice, it's not a necessity.
yeah. Well, and two, again, this you could go and sign up for HelloFresh and get 1 week out of it, and still donate to the fundraiser if that was the thing you were doing.
Correct, exactly. In that use case, it is phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing. It's because that's
I
the
mean,
thing. I've seen.
you open that can of worms. That's where my brain's lashed onto. I'm like, this would actually be great for a fundraiser project. Like, oh, you could actually do some pretty serious fundraisers, and rather than like, hey, go donate Twitch, go throw sub money around, throw bits around. Now you could do a HelloFresh sponsorship fundraiser, and
Mhm.
the people that are you take all the money you get from it. Yes, it is pricey, but you take all that money you come back from that you can send off to your fundraiser, and everybody gets something meaningful out of it. Like you can get that one time
Cor-
whatever meal from them.
Correct. Because it's also one of those. You get that better feeling too, because then the person that is using their money that is going
Mm-hmm.
towards the fundraiser, they're also getting something very useful in return. You know what
That's
I
right.
mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's. I've had a couple thoughts of like doing stuff like that and being like, oh, I'll send out a 3D print to someone or what have you, and I'm like, how many people really give a shit about that? Like, like I had
me, please. I'll take one.
right. I've had somebody say it once before to where they were like telling me to like donate for their giveaway thing, which whenever I can I do. I'm like absolutely I'll
Right.
I'll, I'll help you out. And they're and I'll send you this 3D print, and I'm like I'm good. Give that to somebody else, please.
Right.
like I appreciate the
Yeah.
thought,
It's okay,
but
but if you saw the village of 3D printers behind me, you would be like, "Yeah, you don't need a 3D print. It's all right."
oh yeah.
It's fine.
Oh,
It's fine. But yeah, no, but I mean, that's honestly, I think that's the first time I've ever heard anybody bring up sponsorships in general on this, and that's to me this was very informative. I'm sorry, but we deviated away to talk about this just a little
no,
bit,
no, no,
but I mean,
absolutely.
this was a fantastic conversational piece. Ooh, I just
That's the
wanged
other
my
reason of
mic.
the nerddom, though, is I enjoy providing information whenever I can.
Yeah, yeah. See, works out well then.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, that to me, I hate like because as soon as you get your affiliate, like I don't know about for you, but as soon as I got my affiliate email, like next thing I know, I have just been inundated by like Stream Elements and like everybody else. Like here's a sponsorship, here's like
Oh yeah.
everybody's like pinging you with it. And you're like, oh, this is great. I could make a little bit of extra money doing a sponsorship. And then you start looking into these sponsorships and you're like, okay, guys, like seriously, I've got like 50 or 60. Like back then it was like I got like 60 followers.
Mhm.
How in the hell do you
Right.
expect me to get like 300 people to level 6 with only 60? Like just be real.
Oh
Walter
yeah.
Bishop, thank you for the first time chat. Welcome in.
Walter, welcome in, dude. Welcome in.
I
Walter's
saw
up
that and
late
I'm like,
tonight.
oh, that's a fringe reference if ever I heard one. It's on the
But yeah, no,
edge.
that's they're good though. They're that was probably my biggest agitation though too. After I did the Twitch affiliate, I was
Hmm.
just getting bombarded with, oh, you could do this sponsorship, and I'm like, that sounds horrible. It's
Right?
like if I
Like,
if I didn't use you for shout outs, Stream Elements, you'd be gone.
I don't even use Stream Elements for shout outs.
I
I
actually don't
started,
anymore either.
I was like, what was the, like, my initial shout out engine I used was Nightbot. And literally I was writing a custom shout out mess. Oh, Walter, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. It was one of those, I use Nightbot and I was doing customized shout outs for people. So I was coming up with a shortcut name for like all the different streamers that were visiting at that time. And I'm like, this is not sustainable.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is, oh man. The amount of stuff, especially the first, 60 people that came in, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh man, I'm gonna do these custom this, I'm gonna do custom this, and I'm like, settle down, settle down. And whoa, Zeke, it was the first $50 I made from Twitch. But I was super stupid with the first money I made from Twitch. The moment I got that payout, I went right to Micro Center and bought a better graphics card.
Nice. Well, the first $5 you made from Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was trying to think. I like, what did I do with my first payout? I know what I did with the first payout. First payout I got, I turned around and used that to go buy a game to go stream because that's what people wanted to see.
Oh, see,
Like, all right.
I wish I could have done. Okay, I love Valheim. I love that I played Valheim for so long at the start. I
Mhm.
did a whole year of it with nothing else, and it was
Oof.
nuts. And but I was super upset with the graphics because I saw the graphics other people were getting, and I started with with an i5 8600K and a 760 overclock GPU, and oh, it was rough, man. I
Okay.
literally got that payout, went to Micro Center, got a freaking Ryzen 5 and a 1650. And I was like, we're
There you
golden now.
go.
We're good.
We're good. We're good. Yeah. So when I started streaming, my first time streaming Valheim, I was using not OBS but the Twitch's stream client.
Oh, yeah.
I did so on a gaming laptop on almost exactly the same card that you had, and I had to crank my graphics all the way down. And we were running modded Valheim when we did that.
Oh, God.
So,
110% CPU usage.
yeah.
Oh,
It
man.
was something that was definitely a thing.
Oh, yeah. It was. We always, Tuna and I always joke about his first streaming rig because it was a 750. And I literally, because I was jealous that I always wanted an FM2 like build
Mm-hmm.
or an FM2 Plus,
Right.
I literally have an exact replica from Facebook Marketplace, thankfully, of his initial stream rig, and it's literally sitting right over there. The only the only difference was I mistakenly thought he had a 750 Ti, and I
Mm-hmm.
found that on Facebook Marketplace in a build. I bought an entire build literally because I wanted the case and I wanted that 750 Ti. It was like 30 or $40 on Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I've
That's
rebuilt your
fantastic.
rig. It's right over here, 750 Ti." He's like, "Oh God," he goes, "I wasn't posh enough for a Ti."
And yes, Squirrel, I kept on playing. We all of those boss fights and everything that we did on that season 1. I did all of that on that dinky laptop of mine. Struggle busting the entire time.
I got you, Walter.
Yes, it is a multiplayer puzzle. You are welcome to come dive on in there. We got enough
Walter
people
just
now.
got
I
a
can
new
probably
graphics
just.
card.
Ooh, fantastic. Which you love to see, right? DEF
Oh
CON
yeah.
would like to know if you had to give up one forever. To give up one of these for forever, like never again could you have it. What would you give up? A burger, pizza, steak, or seafood?
Ooh, that would be super simple in my eyes. Pizza would be gone. I gotta have
Pizza.
my meat. Oh yeah. I'm a firm believer. So when I'm taking care of myself health wise, and
Mm-hmm.
I do one meal in the morning and then I fast until like dinner late at night, I have steak every morning. And it's literally just something super simple like a skirt steak or something super cheap. I don't
Right.
like I'm not having a ribeye in the morning. The nerd household does not have that kind of funds.
we knew y'all just didn't realize exactly how big and successful All Out Nerddom really is. It is a
Yeah.
freaking kingdom over there.
That's why it's nerd dome because we couldn't put kingdom. It wasn't legally proper. But oh, but that's actually always the standing joke. If I'm in a chat in the morning and it's oh, what are you having for breakfast? It's like, all right, everybody knows what I'm having for breakfast if I'm eating breakfast.
What are you asking for? You already know the answer to that question.
Exactly, but I gotta have my meat, and I adore seafood. I literally just had literally just had a seafood pasta for dinner. Always, always. It's always budget stuff though. I'll be totally honest. It's super budget.
Okay. I am a big fan that you can take any ingredient in the world out there, no matter how budget it is, and you can still make it taste really good. You
Oh,
can still
100%.
fancy that thing up. Like it doesn't have to be. And okay, I don't know if you've noticed this, and I've always been wanting to ask somebody else because I'm like, this just seems like too good not to point out in like a real setting or not. But have you ever noticed that the more money you have, the richer you are, the more of the ass end of the food you eat?
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's so many super weird cuts. It's like, way back in the day, the liver and stuff like that, not to gross anybody out, was like the trash section of the food. There's people out there paying hundreds of dollars for one plate of duck liver. And it's like,
Yeah.
gross, dude. Like, that's
Like
disgusting.
why? Why would you eat that? That no.
Oh, yeah, it
Like the
is. Oh,
liver just filters crap. Like no, why would you? Again, you're eating the garbage collection. I've got millions of dollars. We'll eat the garbage collection. I'm like, what? Really?
exactly. It's one of those things like, I mean, well, the reason why I eat this liver is because, fortunately, but unfortunately, this duck was an alcoholic, so it was soaked in bourbon. And it's like, well, you're still not selling me on it. You're not
No, not
selling
one
me.
bit. Not at all. Liver is
Oh,
delicious. Mm. Kidneys are also okay. Again, why are you eating the filters?
see, kidneys I can get behind. I'm one of those weirdos that, kidney, chicken hearts, and gizzards, man. Oh, I'm not a Southern boy, but I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for 'em.
It's
Iron
it's
content.
it's just the facts of most men. It's it's fine. It's fine. It's just one of those. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like why like I'm gonna eat snails and like I don't go out to my yard and just grab a snail off the stone and be like, yes, you're going to be lunch today.
Right.
It's like no.
You just walk
Like who
outside
thought
with a
this was a
basket.
good
What are you
idea?
doing? I'm getting lunch.
I'm just gonna go find me some snails and a few like who does this? Like, who
Right.
thought this was a great idea? Like, oh, this is fantastic. Mind you, that does make the better tasting stuff a whole lot cheaper.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I'm like,
Oh,
that's fine. But yeah, I've never understood that.
oh yeah, it
As-
is. Especially like I said, I grew up. We had nothing, so we had to be creative.
Mhm.
We had to be super creative. I mean, there it was like when I was a kid. The first time, not to sound posh, but the first time I like made homemade ravioli was literally because we had flour and stuff at the house. Not much else. Let's stuff this full of some stuff and see if it's good. It's like same thing nowadays, the kids and I will make like homemade pizzas, and it's like, why am I gonna pay $50 to have pizza delivered when I can make it here for so much cheaper?
Right.
And
I
it's
mean,
way
you
better
can
than
make your own
Domino's.
pizza.
It's whatever that. Oh no, we're not eating that maggot infused cheese, Walter. We don't do that.
No, 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 no.
We don't
Oh,
go that posh.
have you seen the super posh coffee that they've got? That's just basically you're eating cat feces.
Yes, I have. I have tried it before. I did not pay for it. I did not pay for it.
I
My,
just like why?
I will say, before I knew it came from that, oh, it was super good. It didn't taste quite as good after. It tasted about the same going in as it did coming
I,
out, so
I, it's one of those. I'm like, I just like you get one of those, and I was watching this video. It was a YouTube video, and it had one of these like coffee connoisseur tasters, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so they gave him a bag of this stuff, right? And he's like, he's sipping it back. He's like, some floral notes in there. I'm like, how in the hell are you just tasting floral notes around? You just, it's, no. Like, well, this is civet cat coffee. I'm like, yeah. It's got a nice aroma and there's some floral notes in there on the back end. I'm like, what in the world?
Oh, yeah. It's not all that. That's not all that's on the back end. That's
It's just like, dude,
the,
no.
the downside is that the person that was writing it down misheard them when they said chivets, and they actually said shittets, and they're like, "Oh God,
It's supposed to
that
be
doesn't
something
sound
like that,
good."
Roswin, but
Yeah, like
it's
ferments or something like that in the digestive tract, and I'm like, "There's other ways to ferment stuff, dude. Like, we
no.
make beer for Christ's sakes. Come on, beer is not new."
But yes,
Oh.
to answer your question, I think it's supposed to go through a digestive based process because it doesn't get full like the bean doesn't get fully digested all the way through. Like it comes back out the other side, but it's
Mhm.
still no. I
Free
it's
flavor.
very expensive. It's very expensive coffee, and no, I won't drink it. I won't.
Oh yeah.
No, don't even ask. Mm-mm. No.
Huh.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, after you
But
find that out, it doesn't taste quite the same. It's like, ugh. It's a little sour. A little sour.
but this is my point. It turns it's somebody that decided. Not only did somebody decide that this needed to be tested out and tried, but then they convinced some really rich people to spend a lot of money on crappy coffee.
See, I have a catching the shit joke. Bravo. Bravo. Oh. And it's just literally one of those to where they're always, oh, the rich want what everybody else can't have. So then they sit there, oh no, I don't want that. And they're like, oh, they don't want that? I'll take it. I'll, t- I'll take it by the bushel, and it's okay.
Okay, if that's what you want.
Right. Oh,
I'm not going to stop you, bud. But are you really certain you want? Yeah, you okay? All yours. You're willing to pay how much for that? Okay.
you have a
Well,
very
okay.
fair point, DefCon.
Yeah,
I love me some lobster butt.
yeah.
Uncomfortable.
Become. Well, so like, I used to run my own company out of Virginia for a little while, and I had a customer who had who owned his own company, made a $4 or $5 million a year, was fairly well off. I would not say rich, but in the area where we lived at, they were in the top 1% of the people that lived in the area, right?
Mhm.
So they were used to kind of having whatever they want. And they had a house down in Nag's Head. I kid you not when I tell you that I think once you get past a certain point monetarily wise, I think your brain leaks out your ears or something.
Definitely possible.
So he was so obsessed with his sound system and getting his sound system right. He went and paid for these stands, these custom stands, where basically they were aluminum tripods. They were like little aluminum discs, and they nestled down on a point onto the floor. So they had like a little receiver disc that went on the floor, and then they sat on top of this, and you balanced your speakers on top of it to reduce vibration in the speaker. This was done to reduce vibration in the speaker so that you would get better sound. He went and bought hospital grade electrical outlets. Now, hear me out when I say this: hospital grade electrical outlets to clean the power running to his sound system to get the purest power, to make certain that there was no extra noise being run through his sound system. I spent a better part of like 3 weeks installing this very sensitive sound system to get him the best possible listening that he could ever have with his system. And he turned it on and he was like, "Oh, can't you hear it? It's so perfect." And then I went and got in my car. I'm like, "Yeah, the car radio sounds the same." It's fine. Like I was literally like stringing up the cables that ran from each of the input interfaces from like his amplifier to his receivers. Like all those cables were being suspended by a string from the ceiling to reduce vibration in the cables themselves. Like the amount of work that went into making certain that this thing would not vibrate at all, no matter what happened, just to reduce the noise in the cable. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Just to reduce -6 decibels of noise.
Not even that. It didn't reduce anything.
No. No. That is freaking insane. And like, to Zeke's point, I can get it when it comes to instruments. Getting that reverb coming back, totally different matter, as opposed to like, I mean, okay, you want to reduce the vibration of like a full-on surround system. Turn your sub off. That's the only way it's gonna happen.
I get that if you were listening to a record and you want to reduce the vibration at the record, totally makes sense. I'm down 100%. For it. When you tell me that I need to put this thing on these little tripods to prevent the vibration in the CD player from causing issues, it's a digital media that's uses a little laser beam. Like
it's not using an actual physical needle anymore. We're not. There's no contact. It's not. Oh,
It's just, yeah, it gets a little much. I kind of go, okay. And this is why I'm like, at some point you make enough money that you, like I do. I swear, I think like half your brain leaks out your ear.
oh yeah. It's literally just for them to later on say, "Hey, man, I literally had a guy, trying to hang these up, and like you should have saw what this guy was doing." It's, what? Oh,
I often wonder if that's not the case. Like, look what we paid this dummy to do. And I'm like, I don't. Who's the dummy here, right? The guy who
the guy that
paid me
made
to
the
do the
money,
work, yeah, or the guy who
right?
spent the money. I'm like,
Yeah. I'd rather be the
take
guy
care. Thank you
leaving
for
with the
dropping by.
cash.
Yeah, right.
Zeke, appreciate
Exactly.
you, dude. Get a good night's sleep as I knock everything over.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just one of those. I'm like, okay, like it's just weirdest sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at that, I probably would give up burgers if it was me. Like, I could deal without a burger. I mean, a burger is just bread and ground meat.
Yeah, yeah. I get those miscellaneous cravings for burgers, and it's like, because I'm also a sucker for a good mushroom Swiss,
Mm-hmm.
but I never really am like, I need a pizza right now. Like even Costco pizza, I love Costco pizza. I would, ugh, I would do some horrid things for a nice Costco pizza, just to save that $10. But no, but it's like, I don't, because even like Five Guys, I bought a Five Guys burger the other day. And I was sitting there like, man, I can't believe that I've gone so long without having one, and I don't know why. And then I got the receipt, and I was like, holy shit! Now I remember why I don't go here anymore. And it literally is one of those though. It is the place you get a burger that tastes most like a burger. But like steak, I can't go without. Like I have an unhealthy desire for steak all the time. And it's like someone could be like, okay, you can eat steak, but you can never use silverware again. I'd be totally fine with that. I wouldn't care if I had
What?
to eat in public every day. It's like that's fine.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
yeah. I'll pick that thing up, and that's fine. That's fine. I'll pick it up
oh
and
yeah.
just kind of sandwich it, right?
Oh, with the steak cook depends on if it's morning or evening. If it's morning, I take a nice medium rare, very very simple. Salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic powder. But if it's the evening, gotta have it blue, because it also depends on the cut as well. But gotta have it blue with same seasoning, but I like to throw a little bit of onion powder on it. Can't really have onion powder in the morning; it just tastes weird. But I'm a stickler.
Interesting. Onion powder in the morning
Oh yeah,
tastes weird. I would say you're using the wrong toothpaste then.
that's definitely possible. Oh yeah, as long as it's got some nice color on the outside, still has the bell hanging on it, we're good. We're good.
That's fantastic.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. You might as well go ahead and answer that one because we're still on the food topic, so we'll slip ahead of a few of the other questions that are there. But yeah, we started talking about pizza. They want to know: do you put pineapple on your pizza?
I do not. I respect pineapple on pizza because I get it. The salty with, the sweet. I get it. I'm not a fan of cooked pineapple as it is. I don't really eat pineapple in general. I will give people crap about it going on pizza, but uh, I'm not going to have it personally. Like, I'll still give it the side eye, like, oh God.
Oof,
But
oof.
you know, again, I,
Did
I
you
will
did you
fight for
just?
every right for you to enjoy every bite of it.
Did you really just put that on your pizza? Oh man.
Exactly.
The sad part is I actually do enjoy pineapple on my pizza. Like I don't have an issue. Now that being said, and my people around here will, I'm going to crawl back up on my high horse yet again. I do this on a regular every time we start talking about pineapple. If you go to put pineapple on your pizza, you want to get fresh pineapple. Don't use the crap from the can. That's not pineapple. That's just sugar.
Oh yeah, it's just sugar, and it's gonna be super acidic, and it's not gonna have that proper sweetness with the acid.
It's just wrong. Just wrong. That being said, I don't typically order a lot of pineapple on my pizza. I have to actually have me in a craving for it. But yeah, I will be like, no. We can totally do pineapple on pizza. That's fine. But don't, like, I will never order pineapple on my pizza from like Domino's, Burger King, or anybody like that, because that's what they're using. They've cracked the can open, they've drained the pineapple off, and that's the stuff they're throwing on the pizza, and that's just wrong.
Oh yeah, but see, I will say pineapple juice. Don't get me wrong. I will down a glass of pineapple juice, man. Mix that with a little bit of peach or something like that, some mango.
Oh yeah,
I'm there for it, man. I'm there. Wait for pineapple on your pizza. Go for it, Turns. Go for it. I wish you the best of luck.
But all that aside, right? Like the rest of that is fine. I'm not. The only thing I don't like on my pizza is anchovies.
Ooh, see, that is actually when I will have pineapple on pizza, is with my anchovies. And that's just because again, that's super salty with the sweet, the brine. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it has to be proper. You can't just grab some randomness from a can and throw it on there. It's got to be good grade stuff. And you just don't find that anymore. Like there's a small shop probably 25 minutes away from me that does the best anchovies on a pizza you will ever have in your life. And if I ever found out that they were closing, I would buy every last anchovy they have in their fridge. I'd be like, just bring it over here. Don't ask any questions about it. But I will say they do proper sliced fresh pineapple on the pizza every time. So that is a huge thing for it, though. If they were just throwing canned pineapple on it, it'd be like, oh no, send it back.
Now,
Send it
we
back.
have a place. There's a couple of establishments. There's one right up the road. There's also one downtown, called Stoner's Pizza. Like if you want like pizza to nosh on because you have been partaking, the stuff that you can order from there
in their lobby,
what they consider normal pizza, I swear it's like somebody took and watched Scooby-Doo and like took every order that Shaggy ever put down for his pizza, and that's what you can get regularly from these people, and it's fantastic. Like you can get ice cream on your pizza at Stoner's Pizza. Like, yeah,
I was literally just gonna say that. Literally just gonna say, yeah, let me get some chocolate ice cream with chocolate syrup.
Yeah, totally a thing. Totally a thing. They also sell a Dagwood too, if you believe that one. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I'm like, wait, jeez. I have not been. I have not had the gut willing to try it, to try a Dagwood, just because I know what goes into a Dagwood. I'm like, that's a lot of food.
Oh yeah, but they may be onto something though. They may be. Oh. Pineapple is the best pizza.
And pineapple. No. Yeah. Mm-mm.
That'd be the other thing though with the ham too. It's got to be a good ham. Good classic Canadian bacon, not like just taking strips of ham. It's
Oh yeah.
got to be proper.
I I figured that's what she was, wiggling her hand about there. I saw Yuki just floating around her hand, like grabbed this piece and was like, I don't know. And I'm like, here, watch. Dink. It goes right there.
Rage. Fucking puzzle.
Such a good time. Such a good time. Oh, it's fantastic. Swift Squirrel would like to know, what is your favorite printed project thus far, and any stories that you have that you can associate with it?
Oh my gosh. I would. Oh man. I have a super, super awkward obsession with every full project I've ever done. Not just like the stuff I've printed for craft fairs or whatever. I mean, I literally have dragons on the printer right now, and I hate printing dragons, but people like to buy them, so I print them. And
Right.
but like, I would probably have to say it's super, super simple, but my favorite would probably just overall a Mandalorian helmet. I've done Iron Man suits, I've done all that stuff. I love it. But I actually just at a random craft fair brought one of my Mandalorian helmets and actually got recognized by a gentleman that does professional cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's part of like a huge group that does stormtroopers. And they all were going to do Mandalorians. And he just gave me huge praise as to like my design for the Mandalorian helmet. So
Right.
now every time I print one, I just get insanely excited and I'm very happy. So probably, and also if I may as well, just the
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian helmet in general, because it was the first thing that made it to go from I have one little itty bitty tiny Ender 3 to now, unfortunately, we had more printers than we could fit in the garage. It's like, and it started because like my hobbies are obsessions. Like I don't just have a gentle like, oh, I enjoy this. It's, oh, I'm obsessed with it, and it's a little bit of a pain sometimes, but like that started everything for it
Right.
because it just it would either be that or the first uh Mjolnir I ever printed. It was my first large project on a little Ender 3. Each piece of it, because I had to break it apart into 8 pieces, I want to say. Each side of the head of the hammer itself took 4.5 days, and the printer was literally in the living room of our 2-bedroom apartment. So it would be there while we're watching TV and everything. But when that thing came out, we literally
Mm-hmm.
put it right up on the mantle and just it was just so amazing because like when we got the printer, a lot of people it's like, well, I bought this printer because it's what we could afford. We couldn't afford a 3D printer, but it was just like I can make money doing this and I can have a hobby.
Right.
And I have that hammer literally sitting just off my desk right now. And that would probably be, if Mandalorian helmets are not, that is my overall favorite project ever because that has come to 3 houses with us and reminds me of when I had just that dinky little Ender 3 that everybody talks smack about those printers. And I'm like, dude, I printed a gorgeous Mjolnir with this. And it's
That's
and it's like it's a
fantastic.
life-size Mjolnir too. Like it's
Oh,
oh,
nice.
gorgeous. It is freaking gorgeous.
Shy, thank you for the follow. Happy to have you here. I'm glad you're enjoying. But take care. Have a good night as well. If you're heading out to get some rest.
Well, Ender was hard. That Ender 3 ran for 3.5 years straight. I never turned it off unless we were moving or I had to move the printer because they didn't want to hear it anymore. And that thing ran. I still have that printer to this day and refuse to sell it because I am overly sentimental as well.
Right.
And it sits in my garage in the print farm, but does not run anymore. It is completely broken and will never run again.
No regrets on that?
Oh man. Only regret on it is just uh, so I initially had it on the shelf not properly, and all of the other
Mm-hmm.
printers vibrated the shelf so much that it fell off.
Oh,
So
no.
so, so now the arm currently is bent about 35 degrees, so it will never move
Oof.
again. But it's just a shrine now. It, it just remembers where we were. Oh. But I have indeed printed many, many swords. I have printed oh my gosh, I'm gonna let down the entire nerd community. The Sword of Omens. Um, you know, Thundercat sword. I've printed so many of those. I
I
have
was gonna say you've
printed.
had to at least print it a few. Like, if you like, I printed swords. I'm like, okay, my brain's going all right. Sword of Omens. That's got to be a check one on there. He
Oh
Man's.
yeah.
I'm yeah. The Sword of Power is
I
what they call
actually
that
have
one.
never printed the Sword of Power before. I
Never.
would like to. I have not. I've been asked to.
Wow.
But after I have a design for it. But after conversations with someone that was actually going to buy one, I made the design for it, and then they were hoping to buy it for like $20, and I was like, sorry, that's not how that works.
Yeah, that's not
That's
gonna.
that's about $50 worth of filament.
uh, let's be realistic here, fellas.
Oh yeah, but I've done the Sword of Feast and Famine from Magic the Gathering. I've done the God Slayer. I've done the God Killer. I've done All Black the Necrosword. Like the
Have you
legit one,
done?
not the fake one.
Have you done Conan's sword yet?
I haven't indeed done Conan's Sword. I've done two of them, specifically for orders. I do intend to do one for my collection. I've done dozens of Master Swords, of course. You know, gotta gotta give Link his love, you know. But I've done, oh gosh, I've done so many of those, including collapsible ones. Like I made a design for a collapsible one that everyone just fell in love with. Frostmourne, what's Frostmourne?
Really? Well, that's
Oh,
probably true. That's World of Warcraft. That's from Wrath of the Lich King. Wrathborn is the Lich King's sword.
oh, see, okay, see that's farther. Well, before my time in World of Warcraft, I've done World of Warcraft Classic and a little bit of retail, but not much. I didn't get into it until about like 2018. That's when I finally started playing video games.
Oh, that is a really good. Swiss Squirrel would like to know: do you have a Mount Everest type project? You know, one that was just it's just so overwhelming to get into.
So I thought that I did. My first initial one would have been an Iron Man suit that was wearable, but I've done that several times now. And I haven't found one yet that I'm like, I want to do this, but it's just a huge project to take on. I haven't
Squirrel.
found one yet. You said the thing.
Yes, I said the thing. No, you don't get to tag me. That's not how that works.
But like
I can't
I
really
can't.
stop you from tagging me, but I mean,
But I can't honestly think of one. I've had people bring up some that were I'll be totally honest. I have a weird project right now that I'm doing for I print a lot of figures for schools and stuff like that to sell at their school stores for the
Right.
kids. And one of them they want I guess they're called gibbets. They're the little things that go in your Crocs. I'm not a Crocs guy. My kids love Crocs, but I believe that they're only good for firewood. Um, and man, is that thing just kicking my butt because getting that fit perfect is just a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah,
But
those holes are.
they're I do have a project that I want to do that is a fairly large project just because everything the tolerances have to be perfection.
Mhm.
And that is going to be I don't know if you guys have ever seen those camera stands that are in like movie productions to where it's a stationary stand like well it has wheels so it's not technically stationary but you literally can just move it up and down back and forth just by moving it and it's like counterweighted and everything like that. And I have some designs for everything to go into it, so I'd have to just use that and aluminum extrusions. And I would say stuff like that is probably a Mount Everest to where it is overwhelming because if one tolerance point is off, you can't put the screws in, you can't put the nuts in, you can't put the bolts, you can't do all that stuff to where you have to reprint a whole nother part, which is like a whole spool of filament. So it's kind of a bit of a pain. Oh, but it's yeah. That would probably be the closest. When it comes to cosplay wise, I am very fortunate. I have not found anything that has capped yet. I will eventually, I'm sure, but I've been very fortunate I haven't yet. Especially because the 3D printing community is so large. The phallic one.
About the secret project all out. The phallic
That
one.
one. I do have a total secret 3D printing business venture. We can talk about it. That's fine, but it it has to do with chocolate 3D printing and what I can guarantee
Uh,
people are going to order, but that'll pay for a printer 3 times over. So,
I mean, you
I'm fine
know,
with it. They're,
it's fine.
it's fine. It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. They have finished up the puzzle. I got to go find another puzzle, so we'll just keep talking anyways.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. But I actually don't use Blender. I use Blender for which I'm gonna feel like such a jerk because I always feel like I'm gonna pronounce your name wrong. um, is it Roswin? Roswin?
Roswin.
Ros? Okay.
Yes.
Roswin. Okay. My apologies. It's always so hard when it's through like messaging to where it's like I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
Oh, it's
But but so I don't use Blender outside of animation. I use Blender to mess with animation a little bit. But I am a Fusion 360. I just recently started using Inventor. And then like Mesh Mixer. Fusion 360 is my home though. That's where I'm best. That is where I'm best. And that's just because that's where I learned how to make an original Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. It's
well, you
super
know.
simple. One of the
You can
simplest
pull one
things
of
I've
those
ever
out, like.
designed.
Uh, now, do you get like? Is there like a typical sort of thing that people ask you to print regularly? Like, do you like?
Um,
Oh, if I make another freaking whistle, I'm gonna shoot somebody.
oh, that would be the dragons, 100%. So I do when I go to my craft events, I do what I call realistic pricing. I know
Hmm.
what the filament costs. I don't I'm not in debt on my machines. My machines are all paid for literally from selling prints. Like the printing has paid for itself.
Right.
To whereas I'll sell a large dragon that you'll see people posting for like $50. I'll sell it for $10 or $12 because that's what the filament is worth and then the time is worth. Yes, am I making a bit of profit off it? Absolutely, but that's business. I don't need to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
$40 off of a freaking off a dragon. I can make $6 and be very happy about it. And I go to craft fairs all the time and people buy the crap out of these things and they constantly want more of them because they are excited about the pricing, but also because I'm I'm a stickler with my quality. If
Hmm.
it is a little messed up, I throw it in the trash. I'm like, nope, this can be better. And it's that would be the one thing that I have a couple dragons that people are like, "Oh, are you going to have these at this craft event?" And that's absolutely not. I'm not printing any more of those. They will never see the light of day again. No one will ever see those again. Please stop asking. Please don't make me do it.
Oh,
Oh,
that's fantastic. That's fair, right?
oh yeah, and
Um,
it's if I get a custom request for it, I have no problems with it. It's just one of those when you're printing them nonstop, it gets so annoying. So you're like, ugh, I don't even want to look at this.
I don't want to see it again. Don't ask me about it.
Exactly. It's like, no, get it out of here.
Uh, commands. No, I was just curious because now we're down deep into this one, and I've got a
What?
couple questions I had lined up for this. Well, so I had a 3D printer,
Mhm.
and then I actually did a giveaway on my channel, and Rutherford won the 3D printer.
Ooh.
Now the 3D printer I had was not an extruder. It did the it was the bath, and it would slowly
Okay, so I was
raise
Resin
up.
SLA.
Yeah, there you go. I was like,
Yep,
what
yep.
is that? Brain just forget about it. Um,
Those are very, very nice.
so yeah, so I got one of those from the company I was working for free because they were like,
Oh,
oh
nice.
yeah, we did a big push and we got the product out ahead of schedule and everything else, and so they were like, here, everybody gets a bonus gift or whatnot, and so we got to choose what our bonus gift was. And I'm like, well, I'll take a 3D
Mm,
printer. I want to do 3D printing.
hell yeah.
And then I never got around to using it. It literally sat in the box, and I never got around to using it. And so I'm like, yeah, here you go, have at it. It's the one person I talked to who actually did use theirs. They're like, it stinks.
Oh yeah, it can. Absolutely.
Um,
They have low odor resin that still has a fair bit of odor to
yeah.
it.
Well, so the crux of the whole purpose of the story, right, is to set up so that everybody else understands what we're talking about here. Um, do you have a preference between your, because I've seen yours run. You've got an extruder for yours, right?
Yeah,
You use
so I do have both. I
you
do
do
have
have both.
SLA as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good because that makes it that means that you'll have a better answer for the question of which do you prefer.
That will very much depend on the project. As much as I love a resin printed helmet because it comes out
Mm-hmm.
insanely smooth, it sands very nicely. The downside with most resins, it is also insanely fragile. It will permanently stink. It does not smell very nice. Um, it is also super expensive. So to do just being cost effective wise, you're
Mm-hmm.
getting a stronger strength with most, even just PLA for extruding,
Right.
than you are with a resin. But also too, I can print a as can anyone. You can print a Mandalorian helmet for about $20 worth of filament
Right.
or about $85 worth of resin. And if that resin drops, it's going to shatter. But also, you need a massive SLA printer in order to print a helmet.
Yes.
And that also ties into about a $1,600 machine at minimum.
Oh yeah,
And
I
it's,
don't think you're the one I had. You're not going to do like real huge projects. I
oh
think
no.
you could do. Um, I want to say you could probably do like A4 letter size paper projects.
Oh yeah.
Not even 11
And
by
it's
17, but
when it
or
comes
8.5 by
to
11.
miniatures, anything that has to
Mm-hmm.
do with tabletop, I'm going resin all the way. Because say you want to mass produce, say, somebody plays Warhammer, you want to
Right.
have a large set for your faction, you can print one super fine detailed and then make a mold of it and just make a bunch of copies of it out of cheap resin. Way better than you could if you did it in FDM, which is the extrusion. The detail is going to be there. It's also going to be way faster because you can, if you have one piece on that build plate of the resin printer, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to take the same amount of time if you have one piece on there or you fill that build plate because it literally goes by the layer as opposed to the piece. But
Right.
also in that case the FDM is going to be a lot more fragile. You drop a mini that's FDM, it's probably going to break. If you do proper resin printed, it'll probably just bounce off the floor a little bit. It'll be all right. It'll be just fine. But so it definitely would depend on the project. If I had to choose, like, say, one to have for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going FDM. I would probably do that because also the after cleaning of a resin print is gross. Like they make it so much easier now because they have like wash and cure stations.
Right.
And so it's literally isopropyl alcohol. You throw it in there, let it clean itself up, strain it out, and then just put it in there, let the UV light go. When I started, you had to have separate little baths and stuff for it.
Oh, you're
Scrub it off
kidding
with a
me.
freaking like toothbrush, and then either hold it up, like let it sit out in the sun to let it actually cure,
Right.
or you do what crazy people like myself did and you take a tote bin and fill it full of aluminum tape to make it a reflective surface and then put string LED UV lights in it and pop a hole through it so you can plug it in and get one of those super cheap turntables. It is
Now,
the most
see,
disgusting thing you'll ever see in your life, but it worked.
in my when I was going for my associate's degree,
Hmm.
and this is the only reason why this popped in the head, because so I got a degree in computer science. I have emphasis in network security and software development are my
Okay,
major
okay.
focuses for my computer science degree. But going to college during our capstone project, we were working with some engineering students who we were writing the software that went along with. So they made their own 3D modeling system to go with a 3D printer, and we wrote the software that ran the whole project. So they did
Okay,
the
okay.
mechanical parts and everything else, and then we coded all like the camera scanner and everything on the other side. So we would take all the images that they were extracting from their machine, and then actually
Hmm.
build that into the working model that could then be shipped over to the 3D printer and then be printed back out. Um,
Hmm.
and so I remember we were dealing in slices of photos because they had the model on this turntable, and it would turn like less than like a 32nd of an inch, and then we would
Hmm.
take a slice of that picture and be like, okay, print that. And so it was just an interesting thing. I think they use a resin printer,
Hmm.
SLA as you call it. The bath is what we use back for that
Mhm.
for that project. But I imagine that you could probably do the same even with a, because I mean at that point you're just talking about your software for building the prototype, the blueprints
Correct.
that you're feeding to your printer.
Mhm, mhm. Oh yeah, it's and especially nowadays because it's different than it was even when I say how it used to be, but it was also going on a lot longer when I first started. Because I've only been
Mm-hmm.
at it for about 7 years, I think, 6, 7 years. But now printers, even FDM printers, can do so much finer work that they're really interchangeable. I mean, like I'll print miniatures on my FDM printer, and you
Mm-hmm.
won't see a layer line, which was definitely not a thing 5, 6 years ago. That didn't happen. You'd print something that was like 6 inches tall, and you'd be like, "Dude, that looks like crap."
Like, so
And
how much, yo, XL boy, welcome in. How much work would you say do you spend at the end of a print cleaning up?
mm,
And
it
how far into that cleanup process do you get before you go, no, 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 this is never going to work, pitch the whole thing and start over again?
so with that, it definitely depends. Again, it'll depend on the project. If I'm doing like a figurine or like a statue or something like that, um, if it's SLA, I never have really too much of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I've obviously over the years I've created my little system that's super quick and simple. Now, if I'm doing something that is like a statue that's FDM because they want to save money, which totally admirable, totally fine. That is where I kind of go to a specific printer. Like I have some printers that are super, super fine detailed. The
Right.
other ones that I'll do more helmets on because it can have layer lines because I'm sanding them off anyways. If I'm doing a helmet, I happily don't get to the yeah, this isn't working out. I'm tossing this dang thing. The figures is kind of where I get to it a lot because it's like if there's a statue and there's, once you slap that paint on it, you don't want to see the lines on the cheek. You don't want to see, you know, you don't want to see lines in their arm or anything.
Right.
And with that, I will very much get to a very quick nope. I've been going at this of reprinting or sanding for 30, 40 minutes on one tiny piece. I'm done with it. Nope, this isn't happening. We're gonna print this in a different medium. you know, I'm I'm gonna do this or what have you, or
Start
like
over.
exactly. It's like a nope, that's not happening. It's like I had that happen a couple times before I got larger printers to where there were helmets with such arches in them that
Mm-hmm.
they just wouldn't connect properly. And I'm like, if I go and fill all of these in, that's with dry time and everything, that's 110 hours of work. And it's like,
That's,
I'm making $30 on this. It's not
that's got to
110
be
hours worth of work.
heartbreaking when that stuff doesn't line up right.
Oh yeah, and it's especially because like back then it was if it comes off the build plate wrong, it's gonna have a little bit of an angle to it. It might not line up properly, but then it's like I look at it longevity wise, you're not going to see the filler or anything in it,
Mm-hmm.
but in 3 years, or if they leave it in the car or something like that, it gets a little hot, it gets a little too cold, that filler might end up cracking. And then they're going to see it later on. And it's like, I want it to be perfect for the future. I don't want it to be perfect now. I want it to be perfect for the future.
Right. For the
So
long run,
it's
right?
definitely, exactly. It's definitely, I get more on myself of like, oh God, like my girls will very much vouch to hearing me in the garage yelling at myself, like, "You freaking idiot! No, you did this right."
What were you thinking? No.
Exactly. And it's like, nope, that was you. That wasn't the printer. That was you.
I but I mean that kind of goes along with like artistry, right? Like anybody who spends a good deal of time working on something that's whether you're doing a 3D print or you're crafting something, it's all art, and so you tend to be a little bit more critical about your work that than a typical person would be.
Exactly, exactly. It's the same thing as, woodworking and stuff,
Yep,
If it's something for yourself, you kind of take a little bit of leniency on it. You're like, no, no, that's fine. That'll work.
it's fine.
That'll
It's
work.
fine.
To where
It's
when
close
it's
enough
other
for
people,
government work.
exactly, it's it, far from good, but good from far. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But it's like when it's going to someone, especially I actually just recently well, I say just recently, it was probably like 6 months ago, so it's not really recently, but I had one of my followers actually ask me to print and finish a helmet for one of their friends that's a huge Star Wars fan. And I was so critical on that thing. I've never done this before to where I've reprinted a helmet because of just I was like, nope, I'm gonna start fresh instead of sanding it back down. I reprinted that helmet, and it's a helmet I've done a million times before. I reprinted it probably 8 or 9 times, and I was so agitated by it. And they're like, dude, it's fine. And I'm like, no, no, it's not. It's not fine.
It's not fine.
There's
It's
nothing
not
fine
fine. What
about
are you
this.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no.
They're going to see
Oh,
this. I'm putting my name on this, and I did this, and no, it's not fine. It's
100%.
it's fine when I say it's fine, and not a minute beforehand.
Exactly. They'll sit there and be, oh my God, it's so gorgeous. I'm like, no, it's ugly as hell. Don't look at it. Don't look at this.
Don't look at this one. This one doesn't count. This was a trial run. Turn your head. Turn your head.
That's the test one. Don't look at it.
DEFCON would like to know keyboard and mouse or controller.
So that is going to heavily depend on the game. I'm always a very big, it depends on this, it depends on that. If I'm playing COD, I'm controller, 100%. I will not do mouse and keyboard. I'm also I am a super stickler and I'm very, very particular on my controller. Um, if I'm playing like ATS or, a driving game, even farming sim, I'm controller.
Mhm.
Everything else on mouse and keyboard. Fortnite on mouse and keyboard. Obviously Valheim mouse and keyboard. Everything else is mouse and keyboard. I have like 3, 4 games that I'll play with a controller. Everything else is, well, 5 if you include Fall Guys, of course. Fall Guys is a controller game. But everything else is
Yeah,
pure mouse and
it's like
keyboard.
Fall Guys. No, I play Fall. I tend to play platformers with a controller. Like if it's a platformer, I
Yes.
will play that with a controller. If it's not
Absolutely.
a platformer, like any kind of shooter or survival sort of game, that I'm mouse and keyboard for.
Mhm.
I have a flight yoke. I have one of the old Cytec. What is that? Yeah, it's the old X52 flight yoke. So it has both the throttle body on one side and then the flight yoke stick on the other side. So you get a double hand setup for this thing. I love that thing
I bought
for my
one of those when we were
space.
kids.
I love those things for
So-
my space sims. They're so good.
Oh yeah, because it gives that 90% of games. I'll say 90% because there are 10% that you're like, I don't need the immersion. But 90% of games, that immersion truly does assist in the experience and the enjoyment of the game.
Hi,
It
Toasty.
is, and like, oh, that day, how we doing, Toasty? And like having that, especially having those controls, especially for flight sim or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
it really gives that feel for the enjoyment. Like,
Oh
if I
yeah.
could play ATS in a rig, I would, but I'm pretty sure my girls would disown me.
Yes, Fjord, we went all out tonight.
No.
Nice. Yes, if you guys are just now joining us and tuning in, we have the fantastic and fabulous All Out Nerddom here, giving us all the ins and the outs and the need to knows of anything that you want to find out about this fantastic streamer. Hit the button, ask your questions, get them in now. We have been having a delightful conversation. We briefly talked about disgusting food that rich people like to eat, and then broached subject right on over to. We've been talking about 3D printers now for a little bit now. We just kind of crossed back into gaming territory.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Every time I do that, I feel like the freaking Kool-Aid man breaking through the wall. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just like no. I like a good immersion. I have a problem with getting really immersed into a game. I tend to play a game because I like a particular mechanic about the game. Like platformers are pretty straight and fairly blasé, whatever. Like it's a platformer. Okay, I'm fine. I'm not going to jump up and down and lose my mind over it, because to me it's just a platformer, and like all platformers are platformers. Who cares?
Correct.
But like I got into playing Elden Ring and really enjoyed the Elden Ring. Really enjoyed it because it had a really steep learning curve. It was very hard. And then its combat system was kind of unique in the fact that it did sequential based inputs. And punished you for not knowing the correct inputs to put in at the particular time. So if you panicked, you got punished really hard and really quick in that game. And so it had a bit of a learning curve. And I enjoyed it, and that was a fairly interesting mechanic.
I will 100% agree with Elden Ring as well too. It is just super unique, and it makes you think about everything you're doing in that game. And right? I love it to death. But a little bit of it goes a long way.
I am on, I think, NG plus 6 or 7 at this point.
Nice.
I have been. I started playing it, and I did my first playthrough on stream, and I'm like, okay, I am going to go all the way through, and I may bring it back around when I get to plus 8 and do the NG plus 8 playthrough on stream. I can tell you at when they released their DLC content for it, I played that on a brand new game with a couple of streamer friends of ours. We did seamless co-op for that. On my regular game, I was on like NG plus 5, and that DLC content area stymied the crap out of me at NG plus 5. Like going in there on New Game Plus 5 when you've only played the DLC the one time, that is such a beast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you get so punished so fast.
I haven't played the DLC yet. I own the DLC for it. I have not touched it yet, just because I'm obsessive when it comes to the games. And if I do that, I will hide off in my corner and play that forever until I feel finished with it. It's like Farming Sim right now. Like I played Farming Sim until like midnight last night while I was like playing Rust. Like I literally had freaking stuff smelting in Rust like inside on the other monitor, and then I'm sitting there playing Farming Sim 25.
That is fantastic. But yeah, for me, I play games just because I like a mechanic about them. Like there's something unique about the game, and I'll get sucked into. So I have been deeply rooted in survival games. I've come back around to Valheim. I'm doing some more Enshrouded. It's just, I don't know, like, do you find that there is a particular thing that you gravitate more towards in a game world than other things?
I would
Because
probably
they're
say. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, go. You got it. Go.
Oh, so I would probably say I would say building, but because a lot of games I play it basically like I like a grind. So like
Hmm.
having to actually like grind out a game, I love that factor of it because I'm not one of those people that believe like yes, if I have a good time playing a game, that's awesome. But if I only get a good time for spending like $30 and I get like 20 hours of gameplay out of a game, that's not enough for me. I need, I need a lot more in a game to really enjoy it.
That's not a good time. That's just a tease. Are you kidding me? For shame. For
Exactly.
shame.
I had I actually I was talking with a dev about a game that they were like, oh, you should play this, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, the
Hmm.
story lasts about, 20 hours. And I'm like, what? Like it's like a $65 game. Like I'm only getting 20 hours worth of play out of this? Like
Yeah, yeah.
is there alternates to the story? And it's like, no, no, no. Every time you play it, it'll be the same. And it's like, gross. Like, no,
So
no,
there's no
no.
replay factor.
Exact, and that's the thing. The replay of it, like, I mean, God, I've done hundreds of Valheim runs, and like the if I can get some type of immersiveness from like even like you said, like some type of mechanic, like the building in
Hmm.
Valheim, I love it. It is probably one of the best building I have seen in a game, aside from Rust. And that's just because Rust is just a whole different freaking matter in itself. Um, the fact of the build when you upgrade actually like physically changing into stuff in front of you just baffles my mind, and I just enjoy the hell out of it. You know, I also
Right.
like to go take people down sometimes, so that's fine too. But
It works
it's
out. It's fine.
exactly. But like otherwise,
I,
it's probably a graphical thing for me. Like Farming Sim is the grind, but purely graphic. I love
right.
the way it looks. It is like I'll see fields getting harvest because I live in Wisconsin. I'll see our fields getting harvest and stuff like that, and I just oh I'm like nope. I need to get that little fix of farming.
Right.
But like if I had to pick a mechanic that is something like say I look for in a game, or that it's like
Hmm.
okay, this is what's going to decide if I'm going to probably enjoy this game. It's
Right.
probably building. Like
Building.
Pal World had pretty decent building with the 30, 40 hours I played of Pal World, but
I tell you honestly, I've got Rust. It's in my Steam library. A friend of mine picked it up and bought it so we could go play it together. You know what turned me off on Rust? One mechanic that they did in that game that just turned me completely off that game, and that is the fact that you don't get to design your own character.
yes, that is actually gently agitating to me, even though I'm not a as everyone can will see whenever I start a fresh game, like, when I did, Hogwarts Legacy and stuff, I'll spend
Hmm.
5 minutes on choosing how the character is put together because I don't care about it enough.
I
I
generally don't
don't.
care, but my stance on that is that I and this is probably stupid, but I have never played a female character until Rust. And the first time I logged into Rust, landed on the beach, and I looked down, and there's a pair of there's a
Yep.
bra on. I'm like, what the like? What do you mean I can't? Like I don't play the games to play as the opposite sex. That's not my like. I've never played a game that way. That is not the way, because that messes with my head. Now I know people that are like, no, I like playing female characters. I like watching them run from behind and everything else. I'm like, that's fine. You do you.
But
Totally
that's
valid.
why I'm going to be the character behind that character. It's not. No, I get that with Rust. That was honestly my first thing I ever complained about with it. Um, like I actually did. I do charitable Rust every year. The last 3 years I've been. Well, the first year I went as a guest with someone, and then the last 2 years I've been
Right.
invited. Um, and I got to go into like this little brawling cage. It's basically you and another person go in there, you get some random tool or weapon, and you just duke it out.
Right.
I got to go in there with the owner of Face Punch, which is the company that actually made Rust. And that was my biggest gripe as him and I are sitting there beating the absolute shit out of each other. And I'm like, why can't I pick my character's sex? And he was like, I didn't think it'd be a problem.
Oh, it's a huge problem. It's
and,
especially a
and
problem when I'm like, okay, look, if I was gonna like, fine, you're gonna stick me in the female character, okay, at least make them look good. Oh, I get stuck
exactly.
in grandma. Like that's the character I got when I
Right.
loaded into the game was grandma. I'm like, are you kidding me with this right now?
And it's like, at least let me get
No.
some hair, you know? Like, come on. Like,
I will be a little shallow. Yes. Give me something I can look at for Pete's sakes. What
right.
is this?
And granted, I
Oh,
get it. It incentivizes you to buy the skins, and stuff like that. But it's like, come on, like, I'm still putting,
oh.
I'm still putting the skins on this same person, so it's a little off-putting.
It
But I
doesn't matter
totally
because
get that.
I put the skins on and then turn around and die, and I got this. I'm stuck seeing the skins again. Like no,
Right. That was my biggest complaint when Tuna and I first played together. Was we ran into each other on the beach, and I'm like, "How the hell did you get a guy?" "Oh, I didn't get a guy." Oh,
it's like oh yeah. Well, and to make matters worse, right? We were the gentleman I was playing with, was, Mr. G streaming,
mhm,
and we were doing so we had this whole bit called the Pantsless Pickle Cartel. So here I am, a chick running around without any pants on, like
yep,
like this is. And then we're running along because you play Rust, right? And so there's the in-game voice chat that everybody uses, and so there's my voice
mm,
running up on this chick, grandma, no pants. Sup?
so
I like that the number of times these kids come up like, "Hey, honey, let's talk a little something." Like, excuse me. You're just like, oh, right, yeah, bye. Just like, I can't with this.
Oh, that is the one that will always get me in Rust, though.
Uh,
Some some lady walks up to you and they have just a deep ass voice. Oh shit! I'm
just,
sorry. Forgive me.
it's just one of those like, right, was not expecting that. Uh, yeah. So it was the whole thing, and I think I played it like two or three times, and I never could get into it because I never could get past that section of the game.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Um,
and it's a super hard. Like a lot of people, anytime you mention Rust, everybody's always the toxicity, the toxicity. Man, I do a server every single week, and I go 12 wipes before I run into somebody that's super toxic. And it happens, but you're
oh
gonna find
yeah,
toxic people in any game.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
easily,
I've
easily toxic
I've
people in any
sadly
game.
met toxic people in the Valheim community, and Valheim, I thought Valheim was one of those communities that was going to be completely far from that. It's it's humanity sometimes, sadly, but
It
and
is,
it's
it
it,
is.
it is a very it is a game that it takes a certain joy and love for the game to continue with Rust because good God, does it get frustrating.
Oh yeah,
I'm
oh
just
yeah.
trying to build a base. Not
I'm
today.
just trying to, yeah, not today. You're not. You just thought you were building today. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let me send you right
the
back to
Merc
the beach.
Captain would like to know what was the first game you ever played.
Oh gosh. I would probably say the first game I ever probably played was probably Duck Hunt, to be honest with you. But the only other one I would probably say would be it would either be Duck Hunt or probably Pitfall on the Sega Genesis. Because I remember a lot of hours going into Pitfall.
I remember Pitfall, but not on the Sega Genesis.
I did have Pitfall, and I believe it was on the Atari as well.
Oh, I wish I had had it on the Atari. No, try Commodore.
Oh, was it a Commodore 64?
Yes, it was.
Oh, I have a Commodore 64 in my garage.
that and River Raid right alongside of them. Both of them were on the same freaking 5 1/4.
Oh, oh, that's amazing. I have always wanted to actually get that experience of gaming on a Commodore 64 because like I have Top Gun and everything for it. It just does
Top Gun
not
was
work.
such a pain in the neck. Well,
It's like what,
you
like
have to
6
actually
discs?
fix it. Well, it is. It's a number of discs, but you actually so the when they released that game, and
Mhm.
this was the thing we discovered when we started playing it. The loader for the game is incorrect and loads them wrong, and so you
Oh,
actually have to write a code to patch the discs in order to fix the problem.
mhm. Oh,
So-
that, oh God. See, that shows a true love to get into it though.
Nor you played it on the dyno. Look. I've never played Ark. Take care, brother Jord. We'll get to your questions. Don't you worry about them.
Brother, thank you so much for hanging out.
It's fine. It's fine. We did that one already. Sorry, Walter. I'm not asking that question again. We've already done that one. Squirrel would like to know, what would you call your gateway drug to nerd life? First fandom, first comic, whatever.
Oh man, probably the first thing I ever did nerd wise would probably be Pokemon cards, and it was. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had comics prior to that, but I have no like recollection of which ones they were at that time. Um, but probably would be introduction would be into the Pokemon cards with TCG, and just spiraled out of control with everything else. But I remember when we would go like to the grocery store or what have you, if my ma pretty much did everything she was intending to do, got everything, and there were just better deals than she thought, she would take that tiny bit left over from the grocery money. Even though it probably wasn't a smart idea, if I'll be totally honest, like thinking as an adult now, it's like, maybe you should have saved it up, ma. But
Yeah.
and she I'm always sitting there like, that might not have been smart. But she went over to the counter and asked like what all the kids my age were getting and stuff like that. And it was like
Right.
I didn't ask for stuff, wasn't used to getting stuff, so I was like, that's fine. And she goes over and they're like, well, it's these, these new cards came out, blah 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 blah. And mom was like, all right, cool, we'll get it. I had no idea what the hell it was. I was like, cool, I appreciate you. I was like, that's awesome. Like I appreciated the sentiment of it. I had that
Right.
pack sealed for probably 6 months before I realized you're supposed to open it. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, cool. So then, a couple of my buddies came over and they, had their Pokemon cards. Oh, dude, where'd you guys get those? And, do you have a pack right there? Like, you're telling me you don't have any cards? And I'm like, oh,
Is
sure,
that what
let's
that
open it
is?
up. Let's see what's in there. Like, holy shit. But it would probably be that. Like, I mean, I know Magic the Gathering was out at the time, but I didn't start playing Magic the Gathering until in my 20s. But if it wasn't that, like if that wasn't really what sparked me getting into super nerdy things that are classed as nerdy things now, I do remember one of my mom's friends gave me a Superman versus Muhammad Ali comic, an original when I want to say I was 8, and I actually still have it to this day. Sent it off, got it graded and stuff like that, and
Oh, nice.
I want to say it's an 8.5. It's very high grade. It's a good grade,
Yeah,
and
this is a good grade.
after that I adored comics because I'm not a very strong reader, so comics were always easy for me. It's like, well, there's a couple words in these bubbles. I can do that. It's not a whole page. I can handle that.
It's yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's what
Yeah.
you read this. It's okay.
Every now and again, it's kind of like that Dumb and Dumber. The okay. We got
Yeah.
this. We can do
You
it.
got this. It works out well, right? Because every now and again there's a word that's just baffle. Like I don't know what that word
Yeah.
is. Don't need to know what it is. It's baffle. Ha ha ha. Just read it like it sounds. It's okay. It works.
Colonial. That's Colonel. Oh,
Oh,
no, it's not.
wait. What? Huh? How's that Colonel? It's not even spelt right.
Right. Doesn't even sound out to Colonel.
Who are you trying to fool with that one?
Right. But yeah.
Yeah, it was comics for me. That's what got me into it. And I would.
Are you more of a DC or a Marvel guy, or Dark Horse?
I grew up Marvel actually. So my introduction was the old Spider-Man comic books back in the day. Amazing and Fantastic Spider-Man and whatnot. So that's where my start. I've always been a big Spider-Man fan ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're like, here's Tobey Maguire, I'm like, you suck. And people were like, no, what are you talking about? That's my Spider-Man. I'm like, that's not my Spider-Man.
Yeah. That's my Spider-Man. You can have him.
Yeah, he's all yours. Have at it. But it's fine. It's always been one of those. I find it interesting because people are like, well, people get up in arms over Spider-Man. I'm like, look, it's honestly not that big of a deal. Here's Amazing Fantasy number 15. Go read the right way that this stuff came about, and we'll agree to move along now.
See, and I can respect it. Like, don't get me wrong. I will say, out of the 3 main actors that played Spider-Man, I probably would pick Tobey Maguire, even though Tom Holland has done a fantastic job with it, and Andrew Garfield is fine.
I think if you're asking me about the best Spider-Man that I've seen so far, I'm going to tell you Andrew Garfield has it probably closer to the original than anybody else did, both in story, in his personality wise and the way he plays Spider-Man.
Yes.
The only thing that I disagreed on is in his early days of pre-Spider-Bite, he missed out on what was essentially Peter Parker. He was more of he played more of like a bad boy, so to speak, than what Peter Parker was as a kid. He was absolutely a nerd. He was a very sort of geeky sort of individual. And Tobey Maguire did a much better job of his representation of pre-Spider-Bite Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
However, he did not do really well of post Spider-Man. Like, and I don't know if that was probably writing and he was just dealing with the writers and the stuff that they were writing. Maybe that's the reason why it sucked so bad.
Or very much could have been his acting portrayal of it just takes away from the actual belief in the reading,
Yeah, I don't know.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of them that don't hit that mark.
No, but yeah, for me, it was just a matter of like it's. I liked him before the spider bite. I'm like, yes, that's the Spider-Man that I we knew and love. And I always found it interesting though that in the Tobey Maguire ones that they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have him part of the taking photographs and everything in high school, which was not a thing that he did.
Hmm.
Like that was a
Yeah, because he
college
didn't get in.
professional thing. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
And he didn't take up genuine journalism level photographs for the Bugle and whatnot until after he became the Spider-Man. And that was much later on. But anyways, I could go
I get the
on
same
this
way with
subject.
him. I get the same way with him to where it's like, well, I mean, that's not really how it happened, but it's like, and everyone's like, oh, calm down, and it's like, no, 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 no.
Come on.
Hear me
Hey,
out.
Ibby, welcome in. Exactly right. But no, so yeah. I also read a lot of the DC comic books. I was a big Flash fan.
Mhm, mhm.
So I was never like one side over the other.
Which I can respect. It's especially because in those two mediums, for the most part with Marvel, I will say, you get
Mm-hmm.
some of them to more of a, I don't want to say a full realism of a hero, you know what I mean? Like to where it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
something that could somewhat happen. But I mean, there was a lot of DC in the back in the day that you kind of got that as well. Everyone always threw it on Superman of like, well, I mean, that would never happen. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure that if you injected somebody with something, they're not going to become Captain America either. You know?
Well, so I would argue that though. I think that you could have well, you could be a Captain America. You could. I mean, we inject ourselves with anabolic steroids and people get super strong.
That is accurate. That is accurate.
I
Like
mean,
the premise of it, yes. The not aging
the
and
execution of it,
being
maybe not so much.
correct. But again, full the full meaning behind the comics, I am 1,000,000% behind. You know what I mean? It's like, granted, I know everyone sees issue one as a controversy, but it was a different time. You know,
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure nowadays people would be okay with a comic of somebody punching Hitler, but
It's a different time. It's a different place. It was a different season.
exactly. But no, that's but I mean, even like, the first things when, Detective Comics first came out, when it was just
Oh yeah.
basically just Batman in it. And it, you know, well, no rich guy would ever go and save the world, and it's like, he's saving a town. Calm down.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
making it to
Yeah.
the world.
No.
He's just saving a city.
We're doing one place. It's
Exactly.
okay.
It's
Calm
like,
down.
but all those villains that never had the aspiration to take over the worord, they're like, no, I'm just going to take over Gotham. And it's like, you have a low opinion of yourself, don't you, Joker? You're supposed to be a supervillain. Come on.
That's well. I mean, and that's always been one that's always made me comical. I'm like, why did we start here at this place? Like, I'm a supervillain. Hey, there's a big superhero running around. You know what? I think there's another town just down the road. Look, they don't have a superhero there. I'll go start over there.
Right. As long as Superman's not in that town next to you, you're pretty fine. You're like, yeah, they're not going to come over
Yeah.
here. Batman's not going to hear you over here, okay? You'll see
It's
Spider-Man
fine.
coming. You see somebody flinging through the air, you'll be like, oh, okay, he's on his way.
Yeah, but I mean that's always been the question. Like, why would you do that? Like, hey, just leave, just go somewhere else. Hey, there's a superhero kicking everybody's butt. You know what? I'm gonna go this way. I'm just it's okay. Peace. See you later.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna take over Starlink City, and it's like, well, I mean, you've heard You've heard of LA, right? It's a lot more people over there. Oh,
uh, but yeah, I mean that would be my stick. I'm like, well, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, no,
yeah.
I I always looked at the difference between the two of them is DC was more fantasy superhero based, right?
Yes.
Where Marvel was more based in realism.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the way I looked at the two mediums. Like, okay, Superman came from outer space, and if you look, a lot of the heroes are, oh, I found this magic item, or I'm from an alien race, or I'm
Mhm.
like, there's very little accidents that happen in the DC universe
Correct.
versus say Marvel, which at one point, and I love Stan Lee to death, and there was an interview where he's like, I finally just kind of got bored of trying to come up with accidents for these superheroes to get created,
Yeah.
and just like, hey, you're just born with it. Uh,
Yep.
Congratulations, the world you lived on has polluted itself to a shitty enough point that it is now just baked into your DNA. Um,
Mm. Yeah. That is definitely the one thing I will very much give to Marvel that I very much enjoy
mhm.
is the things that would happen in real life, they do have it affect the stories. Like same like 9/11 happened, it
Yeah,
most sections of Marvel take place in New York. So they made that change. They made a grieving sector for it, you know what I mean?
right. Yes.
And that that definitely brings the story for a lot more people, which I respect 100%.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, they had the whole like ripped from the headline series and stuff like that, which was super fantastic. Like the only one I can't really get behind is the Holy Wars. I can't get behind that one. I can't fully get behind the story. The storyline was good, but it was super awkward. It was super weird. I couldn't get fully behind it.
Oh yeah. It was extremely weird, but
Yeah. But it was the artwork. I have personally always enjoyed the artwork of Marvel more than DC, even though I am a DC fanboy to the end. There were too many proportion problems when it came to DC. To whereas worst case with Marvel, some of the people just couldn't draw feet, which is totally
yeah,
fine.
no,
I don't need their feet to be detailed. It's okay.
no. Everybody just wears boots. If you ever notice that they're all loafers.
Exactly, exactly.
It's fine. It's fine. Um, Toasty Bats would like to know, what other hobbies are you into outside of streaming and gaming?
Oh, jeez. I have a plethora. Like, I hunt, I fish. I electronics would probably be like one of my big ones. Like obviously, PC building. I build PCs all the time. Heck, my freaking actual day job, I build networking servers and data centers. So it literally was one of those of like, I can't really afford to do this all the time at home, so I'm just gonna get a job doing it. It's like what? But I'm still, big TCG guy. I play and I play Magic. I just started playing Lorcana, which is enjoyable and enjoyable for the girls as well, which is nice. They partake in a lot of my hobbies, which is nice. But we I'm a big movie guy. I like to actually go to the movies to see a movie, so that I would definitely class that as a hobby. But it it's not, it's I have a lot. I have a lot. I do. I do a lot. I don't hunt and fish as much as I used to, but I used to be at least 4 to 5 times a week. I would probably go fishing, but that was a lot
I
easier
mean,
when
if
Lake
you,
Michigan was in the backyard.
well, yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, I have to drive somewhere to fish now.
I used to
But
go
yeah,
fishing an awful lot too when I lived in Puerto Rico, but the ocean was just down the end.
15 paces down.
Just walk to it. It's fine.
Oh
It was
yeah,
actually probably a little bit further than that, but I mean it wasn't that far.
oh yeah. But yeah, do a lot of stuff. I do some woodworking and stuff like that as well. It's probably used to be a much bigger hobby, but not really so much anymore since 3D printing took over. But 3D printing takes up about 80% of the time for the hobby time. But I'm also always in that realm of, for me to because doing a hobby takes money, obviously. In
hmm
my mind, just the way that it works, unfortunately, is it has to financially take care of itself. I don't
Yeah,
feel the right of taking money out for it. Which actually, I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I actually just gotta say goodnight to my
yeah.
kiddo.
You're fine. You're fine. While he's doing that, I am going to take the time to remind you guys that we are sitting around hanging out and talking with All Out Nerddom. He's volunteered to take some time out of his very busy schedule to come hang out with us, and we have been delightfully having a very enjoyable conversation. I hope that you guys have been learning an awful lot about this absolutely fantastic streamer. And get your questions out there. It's like, son of a bitch,
uh,
Nori, stop saying nice things about me. God damn it.
oh man, I am the worst person at taking compliments in any way, shape, or form. I'll get a, oh, that's really nice, and it's like, it's not that nice. Settle down.
Calm down, calm down. It's not
Oh,
that great, I promise.
yeah. But yeah, I'm, I'm definitely in that realm though of like it has to cover itself. So like 3D printing, pays for itself every time for the expansion and everything.
Mhm.
So it's a lot easier hobby to justify, but also
Right.
to expand on, which is nice because then it's like, well, if I want to get a new printer, I keep printing stuff or I sell a previous printer and, you know, it pays for itself. I mean, but yeah, that would probably be, I would say if it was like one hobby that's like, this is the hobby, it would probably be 3D printing, especially because it goes into the cosplay and stuff that I enjoy doing as well. So it melds into everything. Hell, it melds into streaming. It's everything. 3D printing is
I,
life.
I know the first couple of streams I ever watched you do were just you had a 3D print going on like half your screen. I'm like, oh, I was always fascinated because I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so is this like I never could figure out if that was like a complete, like the entire domination of what you did on your channel was always 3D printing, and like the game and talking was like, oh yeah, this is. I will be honest. I initially thought that it was a sort of like a ASMR style video, where it's something like you could just visually watch and just like one of those
Mhm.
satisfying videos to watch. And I'm like, oh, that's the content he produces, just satisfactory videos. You just sit back and watch them, like, yes, it just looks so nice and it's so relaxing, and you can watch the whole process. And I thought that that's what you did as
Mhm.
the entirety of your channel to start.
Which it definitely was the whole justification of getting a 3D printer that actually had a camera in it was
Mm-hmm.
totally partially that, like, oh, this would make such great content. And then the downside is the driver for the camera really breaks super easily. So 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 now if you're actually watching the camera itself go, it looks like a slideshow.
Oh.
Such a pain in the ass. But it is like
That's
that is definitely what the time lapse videos are for, though. Like, I
right.
upload time lapse videos to like my TikTok, and they are just so
Hmm.
freaking satisfying, dude. That it is a visual ASMR. You're just it's just satisfying as hell to watch. And they are
Okay.
spouting lies in your chat, by the way. But
What are we spouting lies about now? All Out is so sweet. I can believe that one.
I'm just slightly under the appropriate amount of sweet.
It's fine. It's fine. Toasty Bats would also like to know: were you ever given a silly nickname, and what is the story behind that?
Oh gosh. So the only, I guess you could say, nickname that I had, I actually, the downside is I can't say what it is because it's super close to my actual name.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But I
Don't
never
dox
really
yourself. Whatever you
had too
do.
much of a nickname. I was super, super like, I guess you could say, solitary as a kid. I would
Hmm.
like see people every now and again, but I was very much I'm gonna hide in I'm gonna hide in my room. I'm not gonna go talk to people. People have scared me for the last 32 years of my life, and I'm only 32. I tried to fight not coming out of the womb. It's like, nope, nope, nope. There's people out there.
No, 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 no. It's too bright. There's light. I don't know what that is. There's sounds. No. Wait, who are you? No, no. Keep your hands to yourself.
But
That's
I would
unwanted
definitely say
extraction.
exactly. I would definitely say that that's probably it does tie into the reason I started streaming was
Hmm.
forcing myself out of that comfort zone of actually engaging with people.
Right.
And because I always have to force myself to get outside of my comfort zone. Like my kids are starting to become kind of like how I was, to where they want to kind of hide off a little bit, and it's like, no, 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 no. You have friends. Go see your friends. Go hang out with your friends. Kind of get out there, and because I'm like, you like being alone now. Later on, you won't. It's like, I assure you that. But so I never, I, I'm trying to think of any, like, I had plenty of stuff people called me in school, but, but yeah, no, I can't think. The only nickname,
It's just one that ties with your regular name, then, and that's fair.
yeah, yeah, that would probably be it. I mean, like, actually, I can't even. Okay, I was never mind. I can't even say the other one because the other one ties to something I used to use for fishing. But yeah, no, that is the unfortunate
No,
part. That is literally the only thing I'm super secretive of is my name. I think there's
no,
like
no, no.
5 people on Twitch that know my name.
There's
Um,
nothing wrong with that. Like,
oh yeah.
honestly, you're perfectly fine with that. Like, if you're not sharing it, you're not sharing it. We're not here to force you to do that.
No, 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 no,
Like,
no. That's fine. That's fine.
I personally, I don't care if anybody knows my name, because knowing my name doesn't. My name is like John Smith. Like, you might as well just have asked for the most generic name,
Yeah.
Spanish sounding name that you could ask for. Good luck. Go ahead and Google that. There's about 1 billion of us out there. It's I just don't good job. You have my name. What are you going to do with that?
Oh yeah. And and that's why I always laugh, because like it's one of those, if somebody found out even like my first name, I am super easy to find. I have such a freaking weird, I shouldn't say weird. I am super Irish. Like my parents are both
Right.
100% Irish, like from Ireland. And I have an immensely Irish name. And I am very easy to find.
Right. You've got an easy to identify
Oh yeah.
uh, nomenclature, and that's fair.
And and I will say that the nickname given was definitely not endearing. It was a super
No.
uh, it was super meant to be a ha ha. if that makes sense.
Oof, oof, oof,
Uh,
oof.
but like it wasn't ever
John Smith,
anything
I
that
think I know
bothered
you.
me. Like it never bothered me or anything like that. Like it didn't upset me. I know it was intended to upset me, but I thought it was funny as hell.
Yes, Squirrel, you are absolutely right about that. You have shown us that search page before. I thought it was pretty funny. Good luck finding the squirrel. You had to sift through the weeds first. Rutherford would like to know, if you were on death row, what would your final meal be?
Oh my gosh. Ugh. There's the two parts of me that it's like the super cynical part of me to where it's like it would be something insanely extraordinary that they could never find just because then it'll take forever for them to find it. And then the other part of me that it's like I would take as much down as possible in hopes that I burst. I would probably go for a super super authentic, like, I shouldn't say authentic, but a good proper lasagna would be on the top of the list for sure. That with an a Sprecker's root beer directly from the tap at Sprecker's. That would be ideal. 100%. I would die with the biggest smile on my face. And everyone would assume I was a lunatic and that would be why I'd be in the chair, but I mean that'd be fine. But I'm not too overly fancy with it, I guess. I'm a lasagna is my glutton food. I don't eat it very often, but when I do, I eat a lot of it.
Look, everybody's got to have a glutton food, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You,
100%.
you got to have that comfort food, that food of choice. Like if I'm gonna binge on something because I'm having a bad day or I just need that, yeah, I'll go find something.
Oh yeah, I got that. I got that little hole of sadness. I need to fill it with something. Lasagna sounds good.
Lasagna sounds perfect. Let's go with it.
Oh yeah.
That is fantastic. No, there's nothing wrong with that though. Good lasagna is hard to beat.
Oh, 100%. I was
I'm
gonna say
sitting here thinking like,
authentic, but I know there's people that put like I guess apparently it's authentic to put like sliced hard-boiled eggs in it. I'm not about that life. Please, you
well,
do you.
authentic. See, authentic is one of those. Look, lasagna is one of those recipes that has made its way around the world enough that
Mm,
I don't think anybody can say, well, it's authentic. I think
mm,
you can have authentic to you because this is what you grew up eating. This is what you're used to. This is that home cooked meal
exactly.
that you're expecting, and I think that's
Mm,
authentic.
100%. 100%.
Um,
I also would not turn down a very authentic shepherd's pie, but
uh, shepherd's pie are good. I enjoy good shepherd's pie.
oh yeah. As
It's been an age
long
since
as you
I've had
brown
one.
the oh
Yeah.
yeah. I actually almost bought this massive one. Costco has an absolutely gigantic one for like $22. And it's
Oof.
got to be at least 8 pounds. And I'm like, good
Holy crap!
lord. And I'm like, I just don't know if the
Like
potatoes on
that's
the top will brown
thick.
properly.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh, love the
I just
spelling of
I'm just
lasagna.
I'm just moving around this puzzle, just kind of grabbing pieces, and they just kind of keep dropping pieces underneath me. Like, go stick this where it belongs to. I'm like, okay, click. Back to what I was doing. It's fine. It's fine. Uh, um. Oh, now that's a new one from Brother Fjord. That should pretty be interesting. Brother Fjord would also like to know, on death row, before they flip the switch, what would your final words be?
Oh man, that would be a very tough one. Oh man, it would probably be, knowing me, it would be a quote from a movie. So it would be something super stupid because it would probably be from a Jim Carrey movie.
Really, Jim Carrey?
Oh yeah, it would. It would probably be the attempts to do something from like Ace Ventura. You know, classic talking out the butt or something like that. But oh man,
I mean,
I've
those
always
are
been a
always
sucker for
classic
Jim Carrey.
scenes.
They like, I mean, who doesn't want to? I really like the normal me would probably just hey, if I did it, I probably had a reason. But oh man, oh man. Hmm.
The
I-
rhino
In re
scene.
in reality though, knowing me, it would be something super stupid like, making a joke on Raid Shadow Legends or something like that. When you're done here, be sure to check out the new game, Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, just because they're pulling the switch here doesn't mean that they have to take away your ability to pull the switch. That's right. Go hit that button. Go score those extra loot finds in Raid Shadow Legends.
It would be beautiful. And what happened? This prick did an ad read before he died. Oh,
Like, what was his last words? You won't believe what he had to say going out. What was that? He wanted to remind you to don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to fill out that little extra whatever guy in. I want to remind you this electrocution was brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Shocking, I know.
when you're done watching the electricity go down that line, don't forget this line to our sponsor. Oh, nice.
I'm knocked out. I think we're killing squirrel right now with this.
Oh, dude, Toasty, I would totally try and do the rhino scene. Do you have any last requests? Yes, I need a life-sized mechanical rhino.
Yippee ki yay, right? Oh God. I'm just I'm just seeing the stenographer right now at who's currently recording your final words be like tick 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 Raid Shadow. Just
They just lean over to the person next to him. What's the shorthand for Raid Shadow Legends?
Oh God, that's just terrible. You stop and think about it. Like, do you when you on your way out, right? Do you go with something profound? Do you go with something comical? Do you like I think everybody's going to have a different take on how they want their last words to be remembered. Like the guy who's like, okay, he's strapped in the electric chair and he's like, all right, my last words, flip the switch. Like, wait.
I wasn't done yet.
What a
Either that or I'd be the
do-over.
guy. I I hid $20 million worth of gems inside this prison. Oh,
Oh
oh.
god. Yeah, good luck getting the information out of me. Go ahead, pull the switch. I'm done. I'm out. See, I'd ask just to have I would ask just to have a hand free when they pull the switch. Just I'd be like, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Deuces.
Yeah. Just give him little finger guns as you go out.
Yeah.
See you.
I honestly, I'd probably be something like, you know what? I don't care what you say. It's a pound sign, not a hashtag.
Oh.
Like the most grandfather thing you could say on the way out the door. Get off my lawn. Yeah.
Do you have any last words? Yeah, stay the hell off my lawn.
Yeah. It would be funny.
It'd be worth the last words too. Like, all right, pull the switch. A2 Brute. It's a good time. It's an absolute good time. Well, my friend, we are at that 15-minute marker, though. It comes by so quickly. You don't even notice it. It's good, though. It's good.
It's a good time, right? So we have two final questions for you. And then, you get to select your targeted destination for this collection of fantastic folks that have learned all kinds of really juicy details about you. So we'll start with the first one. 2025 is just getting started. We've got still quite a ways to go. Do you have any like upcoming big plans on your channel, like any kind of special events, charity events, celebrations, anything like that? Do you want to go ahead and call attention to ahead of time? Just be like, hey, you guys don't want to miss out on this really cool thing.
Oh man. So far, I would have to say no, just because I've done the heavy plans, I've done the full preparations, like every year around Thanksgiving, what have you, during major holidays like that. I always like to do something just because
Yeah.
again, growing in my family, growing up without, I like to do what I can to assist in giving to those who are in that situation right now.
Yeah.
But otherwise, everything else, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm taking it day by day, but I'm kind of taking it day by day just because it feels a little better to me. It feels a little more fresh just because I don't, it makes it feel a lot less like a job, because for a little while it started to feel like a job.
Yeah, I noticed you did take some time off from streaming there for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I took I took a bunch of time off, partially just my mentality started to become very different with it. I also did for a while have I actually had a lot of issues with my hands actually not working fully. So it's a little hard to play games.
Yeah,
But
just a little.
oh yeah. I haven't gotten that Neuralink put in yet. But
well, don't get the beta version. Wait for them to go full release.
oh, of course. I am trying way too hard to get on that list. Wait, I can become a computer? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, not really become a computer, but you can at least, get attached to one.
Right. I can move my mouse without my hands? Yes, please. So that's all I need.
Sign me up, man.
Nothing.
You people thought I was a sweat in Fortnite before, and I can go hands free on this. Yeah.
Right. You want the meaning of aim assist? But nothing huge planned. Like we did as you saw, I did a return to Valheim and stuff, which is honestly
Hmm.
something I did not think I'd be doing at this point right now.
Right.
But it was, it just started to become that obsession again in my head of like, I kind of see where it's starting to go now, and I'm like, you know what? I that classic run, just adore. So that would probably be the biggest thing that I got going on now is that, and I may trying to think of how much I can say without getting in trouble. Um, I may actually be working with some people on assisting in developing a story for a game,
Nice.
and that'll be fucking sweet. So hopefully if they can get something alpha wise out, I've already told them if they give it to me, I'm streaming it. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
I was like, that's kind of the thing. You can't give me something and say it's secret. Um,
Hey, you
I'm
give it to
pretty
me. It's
sure.
going up on. It's going up. Everybody's going to see it. Sorry.
As long as there's no one with Corsair in here, I'm pretty sure I've broken the the NDA with them at least 30 times. But but yeah, no. It's we're just enjoying the year.
No, that's fair. I have to ask because some people have events that are coming up like, oh, I've got this, we're doing
Mhm.
this sort of thing or that sort of thing, and so we try to ask because I do want to make certain that if you've got something like that going on, that we can call some attention to it and help you get the word out a little bit, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
It's always worthwhile to ask. The your final question of the evening, and this one's always the fun one. Um, Now how you want to picture this is entirely up to you. But whether it's talking to an early version of yourself or to a new streamer getting started, whichever one makes it easier for you to answer the question, um, what would have been that one piece of advice that if you had either at time when you were getting started up or given to somebody else? What's that piece of advice that you would give? Like, look, if you just follow this, do this sort of thing, your life is going to be so much easier if you're trying to get into streaming.
I would probably say going to either myself or a new streamer or someone who is wanting to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that has always helped me, and I still do this to this day, is when you go into the if you're streaming on Twitch, for example, when you go
Mm-hmm.
into the creator desktop, click on that viewer count so it does not show it to you. That number will do nothing but cause you mental pain because you should always treat a stream exactly the same and keep talking even if it's to yourself. Not necessarily trying to guide through a game. I will say one of my kind of things is when like if somebody's coming to watch a guide for a game, they're going on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like if
Oh
somebody
yeah.
asks a
Oh
question,
yeah.
that's a totally different matter. But like nobody's going to Twitch for a tutorial.
No.
but
No. No. No.
but like
Well, I mean, you
it's
could if you find somebody streaming the game and then you ask them the question, you can get a quick tutorial.
correct, exactly.
But you're not Google searching up Twitch for a tutorial on how to beat a boss.
Exactly. Which is so funny because that's actually why I originally ever came onto Twitch at like before I even started an account was like, well, I want to find somebody that's fighting Yag so I can see how to do it. but but like it's one of those of turning that number off and just having fun
Mm-hmm.
will change every thought you had coming into streaming and every thought you have afterwards because if you are streaming a game just because it's popular,
Right.
you're not going to see, if you're going for growth, I will say, you're not going to see anywhere near as much growth playing a game just because it's popular then you are playing a game that people can tell you are genuinely enjoying every moment you're having with that game. Because
Absolutely.
that stuff, whether you have a camera or not, that stuff passes through. People can tell if you're enjoying yourself. People can tell if, not even if you know what you're doing, people could give a shit if you know what you're doing. I've seen so many people go into a game that you can tell they have no clue what they're doing, but they're having a damn blast, and that is the
Oh yeah.
important part.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing I would say is, and this is a huge hit to myself when I started, please check your audio. It's, people can, I'll take it as a thought from even YouTube videos. People can watch a stream that does not have amazing graphical value, that does not have amazing picture, but it is super hard for them to watch a stream that the audio is not very good.
Yeah, if you can't hear what's
Um,
going on, then it's almost worthless.
Correct. And if they can't hear the streamer like talking or acknowledging them when they come in, I mean,
Hmm.
that's why people go into a stream to a point, is for the acknowledgement. They want to say hello, they want the conversation. And if they
Yep.
can't get that part back, they're not really going to come in there, This isn't Ninja's stream, you know what I mean? To where it's like, if I put something, they're not going to say anything back.
They're not going to see it because
It's
there's about 50 other people or 500 other people yelling and screaming, trying to.
exactly. It's that would probably be the two things that it's, test your audio, all that kind of stuff like that. And just because somebody else says to do something
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that's what you should do. You have
Right.
to do what's right for you. You have to do what's right for your community when you gain one,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing wrong with joining other communities to expand your horizon,
Oh,
but never obviously, of course, there are some that come out and go to a stream just to advertise themselves. I will always tell people you should never do that because it's very distasteful. Mentioning that you stream is totally different. That's a personal attribute of yourself, you know what I mean? That there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Um, but it's, being kind to the people in that sense of coming in, enjoying yourself while you're there. It's it I don't know. It kind of goes into that realm of it, I guess you could say. Of I'm like going into a whole different topic before even like fucking saying skip on it. I was thinking of something of it, and I'm like, I just started talking about what I was thinking of, and I'm like, no. But like, um, but that would probably be the thing, is like, going in, while you're building your community and stuff like that, ensuring that your audio is good. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as insanely perfect audio. It's just not going to
No,
happen,
no, no.
because the way
But
somebody's audio comes through on a cell phone is going to be totally different.
oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
But
But I
but
mean,
yeah,
you could still you can try and have as reasonable of an audio as you can hope to have.
100%. And it's, it doesn't have to be expensive equipment. It doesn't have to be any of that kind of stuff.
No.
It's, you know, I guess the third thing would be research, research, research. Like, there are millions of videos on YouTube for taking a super cheap mic and making it sound insanely incredible.
Yep.
And, you know, it, as much as I would
I've
love to buy the SM7B, I don't need an SM7B for it to be decent audio.
well, and I've sat down with a number of people and helped them walk through their audio setups for like their mics and flushing out and making it sound better. Because yeah, you can take almost any mic and make it sound really good.
Mhm.
If you put enough of like equalizers and tunings and whatnot, like you can do, once you get a hold of the vocal sounds, you can do whatever you want to do. Have some
Mhm.
cheap
Exactly.
telemarketer headset. Yeah, have you heard Squirrel talks in a cheap telemarketer headset?
Oh, dude, some of those are so good. Like that mic is just so spot on sometimes, and it's like,
It's scary how good they can be sometimes. Yes.
it really is, especially when they're the ones that just plug into the 3.5 millimeter jack. You're like, what? What the hell?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
It's yeah.
that'd be the three things though. Is turn that viewer count off because it's not important anyways. That number
No.
should mean nothing to how you present yourself online.
Well, and on top of that too, right? In the beginning portions, that number means nothing anyways, because everybody, including the big guys out there with millions and millions of viewers, started out
Mhm.
with one or two people watching them.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's when you start to get in your head about it, and then like you see your number kind of fall and stuff, and I say as someone who got into that realm, I
Hmm.
went from the high Valheim numbers to then, hey guys, I'm gonna play a different game. Like, I want to play something else now, please. And dropping down to 5, 10 people, and I was super discouraged, and I will say to myself, it was embarrassing. Like I embarrassed myself to myself about it because I was like,
Right.
maybe this isn't, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. And it's like, no, shut up. It's like, knock it off.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's one of those things of like that number should never
Yeah.
mean anything.
No, it really shouldn't. And as you keep doing it and you get out there, you get seen by more people and whatnot, and you get around and you network and you meet other communities.
Mhm.
It'll go where it needs to go. Like,
Exactly. And the important section of it is you need to enjoy what you're doing. If
that's
you're
right.
not doing it for enjoyment, like I have full respect to those who do it as a full-time job. Totally respect that. I don't have the balls to
Hmm.
do that. Uh, I don't have the self-confidence to do that. But it's one of those things that if at the end of the day, if you are doing it for a reason outside of enjoyment,
Hmm.
it will show. And if you are doing it for enjoyment, it will show, and that growth will be more than you ever could have thought. I mean, my hope was to get 50 followers in a year,
Oh yeah.
and I hit affiliate technically. If you don't count the 7-day minimum that you have to have or whatever,
Hmm.
I hit affiliate on stream 3 and
Nice.
passed. And it was absolutely insane. Like it was one of those of, oh, in a year we're gonna celebrate 50, and it's like, oh, it's New Year's. I've been streaming for a month and a half. Let's celebrate 300. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like this is not how this was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and it just gets, again, it got to that point of where that number started to mean something, and it never should have. So
Right.
never let that number mean anything. Screw that. Go enjoy yourself.
Exactly right. Uh, uh, all out, my friend. This has been delightful. You have been an absolutely fascinating and fantastic guest, and I do appreciate you taking the time out and coming and hanging out with us for these 3 hours. This has been just absolutely stellar. Um,
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate you sharing me with your community, and I appreciate you taking the time. It means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Always happy. Always happy. You are now part of the alum now. You are a part of the Talk Tuesday alums. And I have been working on trying to get together some of the alums and pulling back in for a return to Talk Tuesday. And putting people on the couch with some different personalities they probably have never spoken to and having more future conversations. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, well, then I will add you to the list. And when I start getting that put together, we'll see about putting you on the couch with somebody.
Absolutely. So I'd say as long as it's not the casting couch, but no, just
No, no. No, 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 no. No casting couches. Mm-mm.
my lady might have a
No.
problem with that.
No, no, no. You're perfectly
She
safe.
just
I
gave me
promise.
she just gave me the dirtiest look as well. Uh,
You do have somebody to go select for your raid, and while you're picking that, unless you've already got somebody in mind, we are going to do a couple of shout outs for you, my friend. So the first one that we do around here is always the Twitch shout out. There should have been a little heart that just appeared over in your chat. If it showed up and you haven't clicked it, then you have been around here long enough to know by now you are doing that wrong. Join the winning team. Go smash that button. Go hop on over. Go follow and watch this fantastic streamer do amazing things and deliver you some of the best content you're going to find on the interwebs, on the Twitch live streams. It's a good time. It's always a good time. It's delightful. The other one that we do is we'll get you a video shout out so people can see some of the delightful content that you do. This is always interesting to see what these show up. What are we going to get today?
oh man. Oh yeah, the more recent. Let's go.
Just getting absolutely. Oh yeah. I love the fact that you're like, yep, ran out of bullets in that gun. Just switch guns. Forget about it.
Yep.
Next gun. Oh. Got ran over, my friend.
That's my favorite too, because just at the very beginning, there's a bunch of the I guess they call them whites, but they're the like the big buff bald ones. There's a huge pile of them that just come out of a dumpster. There's like 10 of them, and I was like, oh god.
Toasty, you're wrong, but thank you for finding it. Oh god, that's just. All right, where do you want to send this collection of absolutely fantastic individuals to?
I would probably say the best to go to would be a gentleman called Quados. So he is actually the gentleman that actually created my my intro song.
Oh, nice. You're gonna have to either just put the name in chat and we'll copy it from there.
Oh yeah. And one thing I will preface it with as well is so when you raid him, he does create a song for you. So
that's fine.
So that will be super fun as well, and I think Chad will enjoy it.
It'll be amazing. Except for, I'm like, why is this not working? Because it's not turned on. My little shortcut keyboard. I don't have a Stream Deck. I actually use my cell phone as my Stream Deck, and I was like, where did that? It's not turned on. There we go.
Okay, that'll be part 3 or part 4. I would tell myself about streaming. Get a Stream Deck sooner.
Get a Stream Deck. Get a Stream Deck. Right.
I love my Stream Deck.
Hey, Joker Chef. Now I have started at this point. It used to be I would definitely put you on mute and whatnot, and then go say goodbye to everybody. But I've taken to a point where this has been actually more fun. I've been enjoying this more often, and that is we take you with us as we go right to the that's the end screen.
Nice.
So you get to go hang out with us while the fun fancy music plays, and we can continue to yak here in the background, and they can still hear you. So if you're like, oh, we're fine, nobody can hear me. No, they can absolutely.
Oh no.
It's fine. It's a good time. It's absolutely a good time.
Oh yeah, it's
But
wonderful. I appreciate you having me, man.
yeah, I'm glad you volunteered to take the time out to come do this. It's been absolutely delightful. I If somebody had told me last year I was going to sit down and have a conversation with All Out Nerddom, I would have laughed at them and said there is no way that individual is going to take time out to come hang out with me. You understand, man? You've been like a big star as far as I'm concerned. I'm like, wow. But again, this is like the community build up All Out Nerddom. Like everybody's like, oh, All Out would be fantastic. Man, he's such a big guy. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Well,
So,
I
you
do
know,
appreciate that.
if you didn't know, yeah, you've got quite the fan following, my friend. TTRD. So everybody that's out there, that's the raid. Those are the raid messages. The first one's for all you fantastic followers. The second one's for all you fantastic. Oh, excuse me, flip that. First one's for all those fantastic subscribers. The second one's for all fantastic followers. I'll get it right yet. Whichever one you can use, grab it, copy it, get ready to spam it. See, when I see it, we got custom message. Look at that. It's already talking about you. Ha ha. It's a good time. You want to say goodbye to the folks?
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for coming in and hanging out. I appreciate you spending time with Nori and myself, and I appreciate all the questions and you taking time out of your evening. Everyone have an amazing rest of your time zone.
And until next time, bye for now.